Like it's a
Hello, this is a new show.
Very new show called Ready or Not. You might have read it wrong, so
yeah, I don't know how you could possibly read Reedy wrong.
I don't think it could say anything other than Reedy or Not. So
no room for misinterpretation.
Like I can't read, and that's all that says is Reedy.
Yeah,
exactly. If you sound it out.
And I don't know if you guys were ready for this, but I hope you are ready to Reedy.
I mean, I've been Reedy ever since I was a lad, so I think I've been Reedy my whole life.
Yeah, I don't think anyone here is on the not spectrum of Reedy or Not.
No, but that's like one thing I was thinking. I was like, so we didn't even talk about any of this. We just know we wanted to do a manga show. And if you're watching on YouTube and didn't see the stream, surprise, we want to do things other than just play video games.
Sometimes we have thoughts on other forms of media that we would like to express in some way.
Anywhere where this is just a zone purely of good times. They're not limited to just, this is not good times gaming, as some might tell you. This is good times zone. Anything goes. And we all
anything
love
that can fit in a zone.
And there's, honestly, I feel like there's a lack of people talking about manga in the world. We got a bunch of anime. We got a bunch of game talking. We don't talk specifically about manga stuff. Are we never going to talk about anime? No guarantees, but I know that we all love reading manga. All of us have been doing it our entire lives. Nobody just had to cram 2 weeks of reading a whole manga.
I'm going to stop you right there. Hey, what's up, new kids in chat? I think reading's lame, and for lame-os, if I'm going to enjoy media, it's got to be moving, it's got to be in color, it's got to be voice acted. Otherwise, I don't think it's engaging. Otherwise, I don't think it's going to hold my focus. Otherwise, I don't think I'm going to remember a single dang thing that happens. So this is my journey to prove myself wrong, that I, in fact, can read a manga and enjoy it. Because so far, I have been an anime purist, and anytime anyone's been like, well, you got to get caught up on the manga, I've been like, is it moving? Does it talk to me? Can I look away from it and it will continue going without me and therefore give me some sort of sense of urgency to focus? And turns out manga is actually pretty cool. Maybe it's kind of all right.
This, you know, it's amazing that we were able to convert the guy whose main personality trait is loving Animorphs into reading manga.
Yeah, exactly. Animorphs was that's, you know, that's literature. Those are books. Manga, this is
sophisticated.
Comics. This is just the cartoons without all the fun of cartoons.
Very true.
Like I had to kind of be converted. And now I will say that one, coming from a Westerner perspective, the whole right to left thing threw me for a while. Like I was trying to figure out who was talking in what order for a hot minute. Like,
really?
Like to be fair, like full disclosure, I started reading manga a bit earlier, like last year, or maybe even a year before that. Whenever I caught up with the One Piece anime was when I was like, maybe I'll try this manga thing. So I've kind of gotten it figured out, but Jujutsu Kaisen can be very text dense and can be very chatty and can have a lot of characters talking at one time and sometimes having like multiple conversations within a single panel. And so it can be a little bit difficult for me to parse who is talking when and who is responding to what, and just kind of figuring out the flow of action. But I think I've got it. I think after cramming somewhere in the neighborhood of like, what, 200 Jujutsu Kaisen chapters over the course of 14 days, I think I've kind of figured out the flow of action and, you know, time as it progresses vis-a-vis manga panels.
So have you been reading One Piece wrong for a year?
I definitely kind of would just see all of the conversations and just be kind of like, okay, I'm getting the idea of what is being presented in this panel.
Did you not? Okay, real quick. Did you not read when?
Can you put this on the screen real quick, Kieran?
Yeah,
this image I've just posted.
Yes. Oh yeah, this thing.
No, yeah, like that. Like I definitely, you know, I understand this as a concept maybe, but you know, like when I'm looking at a page and just reading it naturally, it took like my brain a second to not just be auto, you know, like
I'm in the right panel. I'm so disappointed.
Like I understood pages going that way, but it took a second for my brain to catch up with like, oh, like each individual panel also operates in that direction. Like, and you know, like it's obvious in retrospect. Yeah, clearly, like that is just the direction the Japanese language moves. That is how they are going to read. That is how pages, like the whole, like it's not just you go right page to left page, and then in that direction, the boxes and the text bubbles are also going to all work in that fashion.
So you didn't read when the manga Dragon Ball Z first came out in those initial like comic things. Did you ever read those?
I think I had those, but I more used them for I liked using them to draw. Like I would trace the manga pages.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that's how most people honestly.
Because it was like, I already watched this cartoon. I don't need to read it. I know what happened.
But anyways, I want to tell you aren't crazy because those were flipped on those early releases.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I think
were the Pokemon comics.
I was gonna say, I think the Pokemon special
Adventures,
I had were Pokemon Adventures. I think those were also flipped.
Those were the pioneer days of manga in America, and they were just like, no.
They were trying to make it appeal to fellas like me who couldn't understand this whole right to left nonsense.
Yeah, it's I'm proud of you, Grant. I'm gonna say you overcame many adversities.
But I feel like I have mostly learned. I'm still, and this is just gonna be, this made me not really like, American comics and stuff either. My understanding of actions are still kind of I'll have to stare at a page a little bit to be like, oh, he's getting hit. Just being like, that's what's happening here. It's because I'm stupid where I need to see the actual motion happening for me to pick up on it.
I think there's still a lot of that just across the board. Like being able to actually present action in a way that is readable in manga is a skill that not a lot of people have.
There's a very high skill ceiling for that, and it feels like even pros often kind of get that lost in the sauce whenever they get better at making more detailed works or something like that. They're like, oh, this looks so detailed and it's all great and very technical and all that stuff, and a lot of times they just kind of forget to make it readable and all that.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that Toriyama was praised for that. And that's what people loved about original Dragon Ball was all the action was very readable in early Dragon Ball when it was martial arts focused and stuff. And it was but that's a lot of pages. That's a lot of art. That's a lot of panels dedicated to, oh, his fist moved. I got to show his fist moving. Another panel of the follow through and then another panel of that. And it's a lot to do. So most people just kind of imply the line of action and hopefully your brain fills it in. And for the most part, I think you're not alone. You're not doing it wrong. I think it's just a hard thing to do.
That's the job of the mangaka. Sometimes they do great. Sometimes they do just okay. Sometimes they don't.
And depending on how much they want to get done, they will dedicate X amount of pages. Because that's the other thing about manga too, uniquely about it, is that it has such a strict, for most of them, most publications have a very strict deadline. And they have very strict page requirements. You can't go over this. You can't go under this. And if you're over or under, it's for very unique reasons. If you're over, it's because you're a premier or you're a big enough name that they think you can be a draw. Or if you're under, it's because you're a big enough name and you have a big enough clout that
and
they're
we're willing to let you do this because we're not going to publish your chapter because it was a page short.
Yeah, just like the
you're dying of polio, you want to go off for 4 weeks? Go ahead.
Yeah,
just give us 9 pages. Please.
I hope Gege is okay after the fucking 3 chapters ago or whatever. The last one was just 7 pages, which is very uncommon for stuff like that to happen. And because of that, it's they have to format things all that way. And, sometimes they're oh, well, whatever. You get the idea. We're just going to move on.
The format, the art style, everything in manga is extremely determined by the way it's being sold and how quickly and easily it needs to be produced.
Yes.
It's all streamlined to make sure you can get as much content story as possible every single week. And in a black and white format that printers can easily handle no matter how good or bad they are, because it's, the format started just 70, 80 years ago. All the screen tone stuff, because printers couldn't handle any form of gray, those dots that you see, that's because the printers just needed to be able to make gray, and so they can only do it with just interspersing black and white to trick the eye.
The illusion of gray, yeah.
All that stuff comes from just we need to get this out on the cheapest printers possible and
fast. We need it cheap.
Fast,
we need to
quick,
not
and cheap.
Get different colored inks.
Yeah,
you crazy.
And the story of I'm sure you know this of why Super Saiyan is blonde is because when you're in
tired of coloring in his hair all the time.
Because every time when they're because you're doing it fucking by hand with an ink brush sitting there filling in everything, and Goku has a lot of fucking hair. There's so many people with a lot of black hair in Dragon Ball. It's like, man, I'm tired of this shit. So now you can just do line art, and then there you go, done, move on.
But then again, that's another thing. It's like characters often have black hair, not just because of, that's how most Japanese people's hair color is, but a lot of main characters in manga wear black clothing. That's all for contrast, because if you only got black and white, you need to maximize the contrast between those two.
Yeah.
So that's always very important to keep in mind for character design for manga. Sometimes it translates better than others, because I know like there was talk about Jujutsu Kaisen characters not having great design in the anime, but for the manga they look great because it's just like big lumps of black on a white page, and it looks
yeah,
cool.
they read very well. And I mean, even like I'm seeing like in this little page here, I see Naruto and like with the white hair, black bandana, and then like his Shippuden outfit with the black top, and then the orange, like, but you don't
like
color the orange
highlights.
part, like you just it's just white in the manga, and that contrast lends itself very well to just being black and white. And I think the limitations of manga and the presentation of it is what makes it so at least interesting to me as an art form. Like reading, I'm a huge fucking fan of manga. I have been my entire life, and I loved reading Araki's book about like his idea of like the process of manga and stuff. Which if y'all haven't, and you guys are like, I like manga too. Which if you've listened this far, I imagine you like a manga. You should check out Araki's book,
or at least you have a passing interest.
Yeah. What the fuck is it called?
Manga in Theory in Practice.
Theory and in Practice, yeah. Look at my shelf over there. It is a really great breakdown of like a bunch of fundamental ideas about how things get picked up, how they get published, what's it like working with an editor, like the page turn as a psychological thing to get people to keep going, the importance of a first page, like all that type of stuff. It's really, really cool. And like, honestly, I think it would be fun for us to talk about that at some point. Like, I know Ben's, you've read it, right?
Yes. Actually, I don't think I fully finished it, but the thing is, like, I own 2 copies in the household because my roommates have as well. It's just, and I'm just like reading it online because I don't like reading physical books. It's such a pain.
I get it.
I need to finish that, but it's such good information for that, and I've already just like applied so much of it. By the way, I don't think I mentioned this on the recording, but I make my own comics, and so I study this stuff rigorously. So I'm going to have a lot of like just thoughts and opinions and cool things about manga that I want to share.
1,000 stupid words.
So that's where I'm coming from with that.
On Twitter. We'll post a link in the description and
the
everything.
Number 1,000.
Number 1,000 stupid words. He's already got. Did you put your other one out yet?
No, I need to figure out what to do with chapter 2. But
everyone go out there, like
everyone go at 1,000 stupid words and say, put out your fucking comic, you idiot. Thank you.
Everyone go like his drawing as Chopper's prescribing you fentanyl.
Yeah,
that'll make you do it.
I take requests from Tyler, and they turn out pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love the manga style. I love the process behind it. I study that all the time, so I'll hopefully have some cool opinions to share.
From Grant, who's just now getting into it, to Ben, who's making his own, to me, I've made my own comics and stuff, but I have just read manga my entire life. This is just, it's always been a part of me. To Tyler, who I think, similar thing, right?
Same, yeah. I would like go out to Walmart and get a huge bag of chips and then just stay up all night and finish that bag of chips just reading Gantz or catching up on Naruto or something.
You mentioned Gantz too, and I know we've talked about doing that because I'd love to do Gantz. Manga is one of those things that is so hard to like share with people sometimes outside of like
tell me about it.
It really is, because like you can't watch it together, you can't play it together, you can't really do anything with like sharing it that way. The closest thing you can do is what everybody else has done for centuries with books, which is doing like kind of like a book club thing. And ta-da, that's what this is. It is a way for us to try and share manga with each other and with y'all. So I don't know if we want to. This first one, we didn't announce it or anything.
Yeah, this one's a little bit tougher. We didn't really give people like a heads up, like, yo, read up to this chapter by this day kind of thing. But I think that's something we could maybe do if we've got like, you know, stuff planned ahead, like what we're planning.
I'd love to do that because we have the next couple ones already like planned out, what we are currently reading, what we're going to be doing in the future, and it'd be fun to like pull in people and stuff.
I would
like,
love for people to be able to like send in, like comments ahead of time, so we could like, get
that would be cool. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
User feedback in ahead of stuff, kind of thing. But yeah, this is basically a manga book club type thing.
Yeah, you got it. This is the first one that we've wanted to do. I think that was a good enough intro of what we're doing here. And this, what we'd like to also do is like as these ones are coming out, I think we want to also figure out a structure of like because we want to do smaller ones, like where we're keeping up with ones of these. So this is also their long con for making me read One Piece. So whenever a new One Piece chapter comes out, we can drop like, you know, a however long video talking about the new One Piece chapter. But hey, Shonen Jump is a big magazine. There's a bunch of shit in there. We're already reading Jujutsu Kaisen. So whenever a new one comes out, we can be talking about One Piece. We can talk about Jujutsu. We're going to be catching up on a bunch of other things. We can already go ahead and say, I think, that we're going to be reading Kagurabachi as the next one.
So if you want to be primed for the pump for the next episode of Ready or Not, Kagurabachi, get through all, was it 40 chapters?
Yeah, 41 now, I think, as of today.
It'll be 42 by next week.
Yeah. So the we'll be doing like these
try
little
for next week on that.
I think so. I think we could do next week. It's not a ton.
If anyone wants to follow along, that's your time limit. It's a bit strict. We're gonna be looser on it later, but that's what we're looking at right now.
Should we put out what the next one is after that then, just to give people a lot more time? Because that one has a lot more.
But yeah, sure. And I want to bring this up on like Twitter and other places and stuff too. Would be fun. But Dead Demons is the next one, right? I think we agreed.
Yep.
Yeah. Dead Demons Destruction by Inio Asano. It is not in Shonen Jump or anything. But that is the next one we're going to be talking about. The anime will be close to wrapping up by the time we get around to it, I think.
It is on the Viz manga app if you have that.
It is. I want to talk about it so bad with people. I've been like wanting to make videos about it and shit. And I was like, we're going to be doing a lot of like passing. Oh my God, you guys, I'm going to force you to read this thing. And so this is our fun way to kind of share that with each other. And if people have suggestions and stuff, we'll be open to hearing them later. Cause we already have a giant list, but like
we do want
to go through what we can.
We immediately like listed out 15 to 20 manga that we're just like absolutely need to read.
Yeah. And I think the way we're going to try and structure it too, is not doing like, so Jujutsu is just because we already saw the anime and the anime was a significant, like kind of like the middle ground, I think. Cause it's like what, chapter 120, 150?
It's like 160 something, I want to say.
Okay.
It's like around there-ish.
Yeah. And so like realistically, and we're at what, 260 something? So it was about like 100 chapters to get up to like where we're current now, or so. Mm-hmm. And so I think which was our, like, that was kind of a bit to plow through, but Grant was able to do it in 2 weeks because he was insane.
I had a couple long plane rides that I was doing and hanging out at a house where I had hours where it was going to be like, hey, just kind of keep yourself occupied while other people are at work.
Yeah. So it's not going to be like 100 chapters every X amount of time or so. We might be like chunking it out to like, okay, let's talk about the first 50 or so of this thing, and then eventually with the goal of being caught up to whatever it is. So if it's
going
coming
by
out
arcs, depending on how big those get, it'll have to vary for everyone.
Do we want to chunk it out and figure out how many are in a 3-volume or whatever series?
We could probably play it by ear, I think, because I think so. I think there'll be a bunch of good arc delineations where we can. I'm cool playing it like loosey goosey where we need to, but point being, we will tell people, hey, we're going to be discussing this, so if you want to come in and not be spoiled by whatever, I'd love to have people come along for the ride. So consider this your formal invitation to join the Ready or Not circle. And you better be ready.
Otherwise, we're not going to talk to you.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're not invited to the club anymore.
All right. I think that's just about everything that we've discussed behind the scenes for it.
Now you're current with us on our ideas for this book club.
Do you wanna get to Jujutsu?
I say we kick it over to our main dish.
Okay. Then in that case, let's flop it on over.
Anybody start reading it from chapter 1?
No, I didn't.
I watched the
anime. Everybody.
Yeah,
me neither, but I did go back and check for differences.
None of us read chapter 1 of book.
None of us read it. Okay, here we go. Bam. None of us read any of this. But I don't want to jump immediately to the latest stuff. I think we didn't.
Yeah, no, I kind of want to talk at least like
let me get like a little
basically post anime to current kind of thing.
Yeah. Hang on, I know. I'm gonna pull the wiki up.
When did Jujutsu Kaisen show up on your radar?
When
did the anime already was the anime already a thing?
Yeah, I didn't know about it until the anime had started. I think.
Yeah, I think so. I wasn't keeping up with the current. I don't think I'm still keeping up with any of the real current Shonen Jump titles. So the anime was really what got it.
I knew about it way later from the anime, and were we current with? No, all of the season 2 stuff was out, right? I don't think.
Yeah, I think we were. You guys were watching season 2 as it was ending.
Yeah,
like the last 2 episodes were coming out.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
Because I remember watching like the middle of the season with John, Mercury Falcon.
Yeah, and it was this is one I always joked about it. I thought it looked generic. I thought it looked stupid. I bundled this up and said, this and Demon Slayer are the exact same thing. I see merch from both of them.
He was a hater.
And I couldn't tell you which was which. They look the fucking same.
Demon Slayer at some point?
I wouldn't be opposed to it. I tried to watch it and I got bored. But I usually when that happens, it's because the manga's better. But
I would be down.
The my initial thoughts of Jujutsu Kaisen was like, oh, this looks generic. It looks boring. Just whatever. I didn't really care about it. It looked like bad Naruto to me. I knew that they had like sorcery powers or something, and it's like, oh, jutsu, haha. It's like Naruto. It's
not ninjutsu. It's jujutsu.
It's
magic.
Some pushover Naruto clone.
It's dumb Naruto in modern day or something apparently, and that's about as much time as I gave to it. And then I think I want to say what happened was I was working on my card game, and then I had a group that was like also like modern day sorcerer stuff, and I was like, that Jujutsu thing is kind of similar to this. I wonder what that's like. And then I played the opening on Osu, and I was like, oh, this looks cool. You'll notice a running trend. Anytime we talk about any of this shit, it's because I played the opening on Osu and thought it looked cool. And then I played the second season one, the one with Gojo and Geto, the Gojo Geto flashback stuff. And then after I saw that, I was like, oh, hold on. This guy's really hot. What's this about?
Which one is he talking about?
I'm into this dude.
You can say yes. It's both of them. I think I like Gojo a little more, though. I know you think Geto's hotter, but...
Yeah, I think Geto's cooler.
Yeah, cooler. That's the word.
He's just more wholesome, you know?
Yeah, he is a big chungus. But that was my initial exposure to it, and I think we forced Grant to watch the movie.
I had watched the first season just after hearing so much like positive word of mouth, and I think
actually you were the first person to experience any of Jujutsu. But I think you had already watched the first season. Yeah, you had watched the first season way before I read any of it.
Because I remember when the first season was airing. I don't remember who, but someone like was like just really going like, and this seems like it's like the anime to follow right now. Like it's real good. And so I was like, all right, I'll check it out, I guess. And like full disclosure, it was one of those things where I like kind of had it on in a second monitor, wasn't like fully paying attention kind of thing, and just kind of being like checking in and out whenever like cool action was like kicking up and be like, all right, like it can look really cool, I guess, but I don't know, story's not really super grabbing me. It really kind of got me near the end once like Toto and stuff is introduced and we get like the cool, like just him as a character is awesome. So it was like I definitely kind of like spiked at the end of season 1 with my interest of like, okay, this like actually got to a place that I really liked. Maybe I'll check in on season 2 or whatever. And then they did like the season 0 like movie or whatever, and like just kind of it was just one of those things where it just sort of fell out of the back of my mind as like I'll check on it eventually, I guess, but none of my friends are really actively talking about it, so it's not a huge thing for me to get into. And then like, cut to a couple years later, I guess, where you guys are like, are you following Jujutsu Kaisen? It's the freaking best thing ever, and we love it, and we really want to marry this character who's in it. And I'm just like, oh, he was in season 1. He seemed like kind of cool, I guess, but whatever. But then it was like after actually paying more attention to it and giving it more of a fair shake than just something that I was just going to have on in the periphery. Turned out it was pretty cool.
Yeah. The I feel like if we want to get to just like a big, like, I think we can get to quick anime review stuff out of the way, focus on that. The anime blew my dick off. after I got to the I think episode 6 is when I knew I was in. Which I think is for like a lot of people a moment that's like, okay, that's when Gojo first does Infinite Void or whatever.
Yeah, like when he really blows up Volcano Guy or whatever.
Yes. I love that you still don't remember anybody's name.
I don't know. Yeah, okay. So gonna go ahead and get
second sexiest character's name.
Yeah, like let me get up in front of that. Other than like most of the main cast names, completely, if I'm not hearing them repeatedly, I'm not gonna remember them. So reading, I was calling Sukuna the wrong thing for until the other day.
You tried to correct me.
Yeah, when I tried to incorrectly correct Ben because I thought it was Sakuna. I thought it was Sakura, but we just turned the R into an N. But it turns out I was way off. It was Sukuna.
I think there's a lot of names. I think Jujutsu has a lot of characters with a lot of names with a lot of syllables, and it can be hard to remember them sometimes.
Let's just face it, it's hard to remember Japanese names because our lexicon doesn't use those same syllables, and it's hard to associate it with anything else in our brains.
Double take now because I have to catch myself if I'm talking about Yuta or Yuji.
Yeah, so I feel like the other two protagonists are Yuta and Yuji, like Goku and Gohan and Goten. What were you saying, Tyler?
Son, that makes sense.
I was always taught when reading, if you have a hard time reading the name, then just pass it up with like Bug Guy or whatever, just something that you can remember.
Yeah, no, I think like you can shorthand things that way, and I think that's this is a bigger discussion we can talk about later. But just I'm gonna pocket this thing and bring it up when Ben complains about the later arc.
It's gonna happen, but
I know it's gonna happen.
I didn't say like, oh, I'm gonna complain about everything. Like Kieran's just assuming that
because it's true. Where's the hang on plot? I want to get like a little image up of the let's see. Cursed Child is the is 0. That doesn't count. Here we go. The initial thing. Do we have like a fun little image? Anything I can pull up here? No.
Funny and neat.
Go back to the.
Oh, here. There we go. That
Yay!
That
looks
works.
nice.
Cool cover.
So with the little intro thing, I wasn't initially hooked by it. I was like, okay, like sure, he's got little curse powers and he fights people. It's like basically Bleach, but also Naruto. And then
our main character is just magically strong, even like before this.
Yes,
like,
he's very athletic.
I remember
he's kind of
not
whatever.
liking that on first blush, just it being like, and also like Yuji's just really strong. Like he's just an unnaturally powerful human being. He has not absorbed any demon stuff or anything yet. He's just a tough guy, and we're all cool with that.
I still think even now he doesn't measure, like he's not a standout character for me.
He is not. I think he is. I'm not going to say the least interesting because I think he has motivation now, like 240 chapters in. I think he got more interesting.
I think he's cool and fine now. Still not like amazing, but like it's one of those things where it's like, no, I get his motivations. He has relatable moral quandaries in all of this. Yeah.
The main thing that I noticed when it like came to the structure, there was this intro with there's like, he's just a normal high schooler. There's a paranormal club. Ooh, there's maybe ghosts or something. I thought we were going to build into that more. Quickly gone. Like that was just immediately, nope, those people like basically never come back. We are now in magic school. And then magic school immediately goes to stuff. What I liked about Yuji in the magic school thing was he was like, maybe it's a little cringe, but I like that he was like, oh, I wanted to have like a spirit gun or a Kamehameha or something fun. I like that Yuji doesn't have anything. I don't think it helps that his character is particularly uninteresting, but I like that his power set was just kind of like whatever, because it let everybody else shine more. I like so many of the other characters around him because he's just an anime strong guy who just kind of does this world's power system decently okay. And I think that's kind of his strength.
I mean, honestly, that kind of is. Like, I know you mentioned like the spirit gun and Kamehameha, but those are very basic too. Like
they are very basic, yeah.
That's a good tool to just be like, it's versatile, but it's very simple, easy to understand, and that's good for a main character. And it does highlight how special everyone else's powers are in comparison.
Yeah, and I liked seeing as the world kept developing, we start seeing wackier and wackier stuff, and I think that was like one of this the strong suits of this. I don't want to skip too much to season 2, but like it starts getting crazy. And in season 1, I think when I first got pulled in was okay, he's at magic school. He's got to, keep up with his peers who are way better and cooler than him. He's got his friend who can summon crazy animals and shit, and his other friend who has like kind of the stereotypical curse power with like the nails and the dolls and stuff. That's very classical Japanese curse
kind of like
imagery,
voodoo-y almost stuff. You got like the dolls and nails and stuff like that kind of thing.
Yeah, and
voodoo, yeah.
I liked that contrast between them, and then that turned into just more school antics and stuff. Oh, we got to kill curses, blah blah blah. And then Mahito shows up, and then the show gets good. Like in my mind, like once he needed to be there, and then that other character who I'm already forgetting the name of because that's just how it goes. But man, I don't know where the
kid that Yuji befriends.
Where they have to this guy where they gotta be friends.
It's Junpei. I remember his name because that's the name of the main character from 999.
Oh, that's a character from Persona 3. Yeah. So like when he shows up, then I feel like we start getting an emotional hook. We give a reason for Yuji to actually be invested in something other than everybody else. Oh, I hope I can become like a cool anime guy. Now he's like, oh, this is a person I care about. I need to fight for somebody weaker than myself. And then that whole crazy arc with him and Mahito, I loved him going like, yeah, aren't like people fucked up? Don't you want to like kill the bullies?
Suck? What if you could just kill them? Wouldn't that be cool?
Wouldn't that be
just like in a video game, dude? Just blow their heads up. It's okay.
And
just call Yuji and tell him not to go to school tomorrow. It'll be fine.
Look at this little doll thing. I made it out of a 6-year-old.
I personally got pulled in around here. I don't know how y'all felt about it, but this is when like this part.
That's exactly where I started to gain a little bit of interest.
Yeah.
I'd say like
around here is when we get Nanami swinging his dick around.
I think I tried to figure out why I couldn't get interested in it before this, and it's because it's Yuji or is it Yuta? God, I cannot remember.
It is Yuji. Yuta Zero.
Yuji
Itadori. Oh, his main character. Okay. It's because Yuji.
Oh, gee, this is the main character.
Doesn't connect with any of the characters like any significant way until Junpei.
Yeah.
And it felt like we were always at arm's distance from all the characters, and it made it really hard to connect with anyone. So the Junpei thing was a breath of fresh air for me, and that's what really got me in.
Yeah. Same. I thought that, and then after all that, I think we get a shonen classic with at least in the anime with Nanami showing up, the Yuji and Nanami fighting in the courtyard. That in particular I think was like the big payoff that I needed to see from this, and then Mahito doing his domain expansion, that's when my neurons started firing. I don't know, that's at least for me, like when I first like gave a shit about it. I don't know how y'all feel about it.
I
care a lot less about the fight stuff than the character stuff personally, but
I loved the imagery of his domain expansion.
It's so good.
So Nanami, is that his name, right?
Yes,
Nanami.
That's
okay.
7/10 guy.
Yeah, I always forget his name and stuff, but I did not like him at first because it felt to me like he was the powers getting to a zany level that I felt like was like cartoony silly and felt like it clashed, I guess. I don't know how to put it.
Okay.
But for me, I started just going like, oh, okay, so we're just going to like show you that like we're going to introduce these characters and they're just going to have these just utterly ridiculous powers, these nonsensical, just like, no, I've got all my goofy rules for my powers that you're just going to have to deal with. And it's just going to be like, no, trust me, it makes sense. It's going to be fine. And like, it just felt like it was going to like a weird place that I was not ready to go to. I think now in retrospect, it like fits so much more and is like good. But at that point, I was still kind of in just like I was ready for this to be a much more straightforward battle show type thing where it's just going to be like, dudes are just going to get tougher. We're not going to get sillier powers. We're just getting tougher.
You were ready for Dragon Ball, not for JoJo's.
Exactly. And the show definitely went like no, we're going to be upping the just esoteric power,
the complexity of everything.
Yeah. We're going to make all of these fights a list of rules, basically, that are going to go to head against each other. And so I kind of feel bad. I feel like I need to check that first chunk of stuff out again because I was not mentally prepared for the direction it was taking.
And that was like the that is that the end of no season 1 also goes into the goes to the other school.
Yeah, it starts
fight.
with
season
it ends
yeah,
with the
season
death
shows the-
bed
yeah.
paintings.
Yeah, that's right. So then
Production of Chozo.
anything anybody else? I'm wanting to just like kind of quickly get to like the modern stuff. Is there anything anybody else wants to say about this era?
Well, right now we just had our first domain expansion. Does everybody understand what a domain fight is and everything?
Hold on.
Yeah,
in my mind, I've classified it as the I win button, and it levels the playing field of both. Press it.
Like I still feel like I have like a being manga current that I kind of just like a lot of the power and like the way these fights play out is just like well, I understand that when your domain is open is when you're like able to do like your better moves basically.
Well, it means your move hits for sure.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily that you're doing better moves, that you're definitely hitting with that move.
That these moves are guaranteed unless the other person's domain is also doing stuff, in which case now
unless they're doing
domain
one
versus
of 6
domain
things.
Want to get this? There we go. Get that up. We can have that
Yeah,
ready
thank
while we're
you.
talking about
Thank you
it.
for my visual representation
You're
of the
welcome.
domain expanded.
That looks great.
Yeah. So the thing with a lot of Jujutsu stuff, which domain expansions first and foremost. The way that I feel like Gege writes about like everything in general is like they really think about things in like a video gamey rule set, and maybe not even like just a tabletop, just a game. There are rules, right? And it's like there's ideally a consistency to them that they at least believe in their own mind are very consistent and logical, and it's like, oh well, because ABC happened, XYZ happened, and I just smile and nod and go, okay, yeah, sure.
These dominoes were set up, of course they were.
And the way that domain expansions read to me is like, okay, well, this is like an ultimate in any video game or in a MOBA or whatever, or in D&D. This is like your daily ability. You can only use this once per session because then it has to recharge, and that recharge is on some time limit that is irrelevant to anything else. And just because of how the world is. And once you pop your ultimate, that like leads to this new, there's this concept in Fate, and I haven't read any Fate shit, so I don't really know. But like reality marbles are a thing in Fate that I know about, where it's like Archer, no, is it Archer? No. What's his fucking name?
Iskandar?
The guy with the swords, like Sword Dimension Man. Is it Archer? I don't remember who it is.
Yes.
You can tell that I'm not in any Fate stuff, but I know like the from what I understand, like I'm thinking that this is the same idea, or this is how I kind of categorize it, or at least what I think reality marbles are is what I think domain expansion is, which is like a pocket dimension that you are manifesting where you can kind of do anything.
I've already won.
Yeah, I've already won. This is my little pocket away from reality where I run everything. Everything I do hits. This is all for me, baby. Everything that I already do is just stronger.
My home base.
And I can
Can't get
I can do
tagged
anything
on home base.
Yeah, exactly.
I at least picked up on that. I called it the I win button. I think that's about right then.
It's basically, and it's like, this is my home. I get to use the PlayStation controller. You have to use Mad Cat's controller, and you know, you got to deal with it. And then when two of them are combined, they like fight for each other.
Yeah, it's just a tug of war.
It's like a tug of war, right? It's like the Tenkaichi. You got to spin the analog stick to see who wins.
Both gonna mash, and whoever
clash.
mashes better wins.
Yeah.
Unless current events are happening.
Yeah, unless randomly the rules change later on. But the
yeah.
yeah, sure. I'm sure this was just said in page.
There's so many fun explanations. It makes so much sense, guys.
Sure
It's okay.
Perfectly logically consistent.
And
Trust me.
domain expansions are this thing that are vulnerable from the outside. So, which comes into play here because after this domain expansion, somebody breaks in from the outside, right? That's like the whole thing.
Domain,
yeah. Like,
the domain is meant for trapping prey, but breaking in is fairly easy.
yeah. So that's like the whole thing. Bam. Oh, the more a barrier technique is reinforced from the inside, the more vulnerable it is to outside forces. And then Yuji breaks in. The domain is meant for trapping prey, but breaking in is fairly easy because only harm can come to those who enter. take them and void or self, whatever. Once you enter those domains, victory is almost guaranteed for the caster. However, within Yuji Itadori dwells a forbidden soul. And that was a fun twist. I thought that was cool.
No. See, this is the era of domain expansion that I can understand and appreciate.
It is very straightforward. It's very simple. By
this point they had already explained the thing where explaining how your move works makes it stronger, right? Like that was something that my head didn't quite wrap around initially.
I think that was established here. Is that because I remember liking that a ton.
No, I think that as a concept is very funny.
I took that as a metatextual excuse for people to reasonably want to explain their powers to their opponents.
No, I mean that's exactly what it is, and I like it. That's okay.
Yeah, it definitely works. I'm fine with it. It's not a complaint just because I know exactly what it's meant for.
Yeah, like, hey, why does
this is an author tool first and foremost,
and I see a lot of that in Jujutsu just as a whole. I see a lot of things where, because the way I tried to talk about Jujutsu, like at this point specifically, and like a couple of things that happen later, is like I feel like this is a lot of Naruto in my mind. Like a lot of this is taking things from Naruto in terms of like the structure of how things are happening. And they were like, okay, how can I take this part of Naruto that I liked and twist it in a way that I think, air quotes, fixes some of it and make it a way that I would enjoy. I think there's a lot of overly verbose explaining, not just in Naruto, but in almost everything. And taking that trope and spinning it around and going, yeah, of course. Why else would I talk? Because if it didn't make me stronger, I would just kill you. I mean, I think that's fine. I think that's okay. And then I don't know if binding vows were discussed.
Yeah, I don't remember when those became a thing.
I don't either.
Those are like
current
the
events,
exact same thing as Nen contracts in Hunter x Hunter, so I immediately understood it. I'm not sure how well it was explained because of that, but I at least got it right away.
I think the first binding vow is at the beginning of season 2 whenever Mekamaru fights. Or no, I think it's whenever he first fights Panda, because he explains how he's fighting from so far away and using how he has so much jujutsu energy or whatever.
Oh, yes. I think you're right. Hang on. I'm trying to see where the Mekamaru thing is. But if we want to, I think that's like the basic concept there. That fight was cool. I mean, I like that fight. I like the characters in that part.
Cool fight.
And then after that, we get the school stuff with the Kyoto school, and then they have to do this little test where they get they're trying to kill curses or something, and like only certain ones give them points. Right? Was that the conceit at the beginning?
That quickly became irrelevant though, because
immediately
everyone was starting to kill, trying to kill Yuji, and then it got infiltrated. So it was just like almost no time spent on the initial premise,
which seems like a trend for some of them, where it's like, hey, we're gonna introduce this concept, we're gonna do this whole thing, and then shit's gonna get fucked and something's gonna happen, and then it's not gonna matter anymore. Which I'm mostly fine with for the
manga classic, where we're going to go a long time explaining what's going to happen so that it can be derailed immediately, so you can know what was supposed to have happened when it all goes wrong.
Yeah, and the at this point we are getting introduced to a shotgun blast of many more characters, many of which I would consider probably on the stronger end. I think once the Kyoto kids show up is when I got a little more interested in the cast in general, because I wasn't really feeling any of them.
I remember when they got introduced, I had a feeling of like, I wish we were following their school.
Right?
Because I liked their power sets more. I thought they seemed like more interesting personalities than a lot of our main cast.
Absolutely.
At that point. So I was like, I remember them showing up and being like jealous. Like it was like seeing like if I really hated all of the Naruto ninjas, and then it's like the sand ninjas show up and I'm like, man, these guys seem so much better.
Yeah,
I'm always a sucker for someone with blood power set.
See, I thought he was one of the weaker ones in general, but because of his power set, I agree with you 100%. I was totally in.
Especially with how they utilize it later.
Yes. Oh my god, it's so good. Yeah. What's his name?
Here or later?
What's his name?
Kenjaku, actually, I think, right? Because he has the exact same name.
Yes, because he is related to him. Yeah, I think they just call him Kenjaku. Yeah, did you forget that?
I completely forgot that.
I knew they were related. I don't know what they called him.
I think they did call him Kenjaku.
character.
What's his fucking name?
Because yeah, I don't remember his name, and but I don't remember anyone's name.
Wait, no,
Noritoshi.
Noritoshi Kamo?
Noritoshi, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he was related to whoever Kamo, who was later called Kenjaku.
Who is later, yes. This is a whole... Man, the clans are a whole thing. This is a
8 clans, right? What's the number, guys?
3?
3?
Yes,
There's like 3 big ones.
Yay!
Yeah, the big 3. There's the
That's a
Zenin,
Jujutsu sound.
and then the other 2.
There's the,
the
yes.
Zenin,
Uh,
The Gojo.
Gojo.
Oh, is Gojo? Okay,
Gojo
I
is-
thought
yeah.
And then the
I
Remember
thought
Kenjaku.
the
Gojo
Gojo
was a
clan?
weird.
The Gojo clan is him.
Yeah, like I was gonna say, I thought Gojo was just a weird anomaly, but I guess that is still the case, where it's just him.
And then the mother.
The one
fuck.
Kenjaku's from.
The one, yeah. Is it the Combo clan?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Fuck me.
I think so.
I think you're right. I think so. That sounds correct. Yeah. From the Kamo clan.
An important thing to understand
From
here,
the
Reedy or
definitive
not,
source
is we're
on
not saying-
Jujutsu Kaisen.
Here, we want to say from the outset, here at Reedy or Not, we are not a facts-based book club.
This is a vibes based.
Yeah,
It's
no,
about
you
our
come in
feelings.
after you've read it and you've kind of like done the cram school, and we all kind of review each other's study papers of like, wait a minute,
Okay, yeah. Zenin,
what did you
Gojo,
get
and
for number
Kamo.
3? Oh shit, there were 3 big families?
Yeah, the 3 big families. But they get the Kyoto stuff gets introduced. I love all the characters there. And then I feel like just what you were saying, Grant, about like, you know, Toto's amazing. He really
Toto shows up and is immediately like more, in my opinion, like charismatic than almost any character we've met at that point. Like I think Gojo can be really, really cool. Don't get me wrong. But like Toto immediately makes an impression when he shows up. And then when he gets to fight is like one of my like favorite moments of like the series, just kind of still period.
Yes.
Like his like first debut battle. And like when he gets to come in swinging and showing what Boogie Woogie can do is like so good. And I feel like works so well. And like
this whole
that
fight
was
is
what
amazing.
made me, that is what made
And
me know
All of his
that
interactions with
eventually,
Yuji.
yeah, that I would eventually
the whole,
show
like,
up.
You are
for
you are
season
my
2.
brother, Hanapatata, and like, you know, and Toto's sitting there like getting like the flower comes at him and he's like, but I have a billion IQ and I process this in a nanosecond and know that I should divert all of my cursed energy to my stomach or whatever. It's just like,
He's
I
like,
love
I am
that.
a genius idiot character.
Yes.
And then on top of that, we've already got Yuji, who's like not an idiot, but he is definitely like kind of like Naruto Goku coded, where he's like, he's not going to be the smartest guy in the bunch. He is definitely the kind of like charge in dude. But like we've got Toto, who's so goofy even compared to him with like the whole brother thing, which then just gets so much better with what happens later with another character calling Yuji brother. And it's becoming way more fleshed out and real. But like it kind of already gets like lays that groundwork here of like Yuji kind of finds these characters who will flock to him and basically protect him when he needs it.
Yeah. Their dynamic is like, it's one of those things that I think goes to show that I think it helps that Yuji is a blank slate that Toto can impose on, because he builds him up.
Yeah.
Like by doing this. Like I like Yuji more because he is friends with Toto, if that makes sense. And I don't think Toto would have done that with anybody else.
It's like I said before. I think it's Yuji's connections with people is what really makes like the whole like framework of all the characters shine.
Yeah.
And his connection with Fushiguro just isn't there for like all of season 1.
Yes.
Like he's separated from them and
They just don't
the
link
girl.
up on each other's fetishes while we're all dancing around.
Yeah.
And it's just like it felt like he had no connection with anyone, so I couldn't connect with any of the characters. And then Toto shows up, best friends with them, is like, okay, this is the life of the show now.
Yeah. And I think it was really good having this, like, because this was, I think, back to back, like really cool revelations of things. I like the Kyoto principal busting out his guitar. I like seeing all the wacky,
good.
like the stupid blood powers. You got the crazy gun. I loved Gun Girl's like whole exchange too. That was fun.
I love how like
fun.
here too they already name drop Hikari because they're like, oh, why convert? Because this is an event only supposed to be held for second years and up.
Yes, because they say Hikari is off doing
all of our third years
whatever.
Have been suspended. So
yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, they do name drop that he is out there.
Oh yeah.
Fucking off or whatever. We get
So, like, it's open
Megamaru
for
showing
first
up.
years to
We get fucking
the end.
Panda, and oh man,
I love
Man.
Panda. Panda's a fun,
There's some
like,
characters in this lineup that I have completely forgotten about already.
Oh, you forgot about Panda?
No, I love Panda. Panda's
I
great.
like Panda and Maki, and I don't remember his name, but the guy who only speaks in sushi
He's a Maki.
recipes.
Yeah. Sushi guy.
Yeah,
I liked
sushi
him.
guys.
I have
Sushi
a
guy's
que-
really good.
Like, are we covering Zero at all right now? Are we covering
I mean, once
Yuta?
are we done?
When
Are
we
we done
get
talking
there.
about one?
I mean, what is it? That was the past.
Well, I still like I loved the I don't remember their name, but basically the cursed spirit that was like forests, basically, or like life and trees and
Yeah,
nature.
Hanami.
Yeah.
It was very similar to Nanami, but a different thing.
Yeah, I loved Hanami. I loved like that. Like, I mean, I was talking about how much I love Todo that fight, but like Hanami is also really freaking cool. Like, was one of like the first like enemy, antagonist, villain, but not quite villain. Like, I feel like they're a very sympathetic villain of they're just like, humans are fucking up the earth. Like, you gotta stop. Like, I really liked them as well, and like just want to give them a shout out as well, because like at this point I still was not sure like bad guys, like exactly what was unifying them other than them just being cursed spirits. And there's this weird dude who seems to be kind of talking to him and hanging out. But like they kind of immediately made me think like these enemy characters would have more nuance and be more interesting than just like kind of monster of the week at that point. Like Mahito had already kind of also proven that with Junpei and stuff, but like it had at that point felt very much just like, we're going to give you like a ghost story, and then we're going to have to fight a big monster based on that ghost story.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be it.
That is going to be this series. That's going to be what this show is. And then kind of like at this point, it started being like well, no, there's like a malevolent kind of guiding hand here doing all of this stuff. But I really liked Hanami. Like, I thought they were just like a very cool design and a very cool fight.
Absolutely.
I hate that we never got to see their domain, because it was teased right there at the end of the fight when Gojo shows up.
Yes, you're right.
Wow, yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah. I completely agree with you too. I feel like the world opened up when Hanami got to get more development in that fight, because like we are on Hanami for a good like 6 episodes, I think, like a 7. Like that whole like just that fight is really long.
Because they deal with the whole group before Yuji even
Yuji
like and Todo even show up.
There's a whole thing with
they're doing like their own mini training arc together.
Yeah. And I think the stuff with her helped expand the world in a way that was like, oh, because I immediately after this, I was like, oh, are they going to pull a thing where like the curse, all the sorcerers are bad? Like, because that was the exciting thing I was ready for, because at this point, I was like waffling between 2 possibilities for Gojo, because Gojo is too cool. He is too strong. He is too good. So either he is a villain or he is gonna die. Like just one of those two. He can't just be good. That was my thinking of the world. Was like I was convinced Gojo was a villain, and we have indoctrinated Yuji into villain school, because they already talk. Because like every time they show the Jujutsu like upper class people, they're all like behind these weird screen doors, and they talk ominously, and like clearly they're like, well, we got to do what's like good for the world, and like, you know, all this other weird shadowy shit, like the Evangelion Council of like all the like world higher ups. That's the vibe it was giving me. So I thought we were the villains for a while with Hanami specifically. I was like, oh shit, like this is the world fighting back against the people that are like eating up all the energy that like brings flowers to life or something. Like curse techniques are killing the planet, was what I thought the message was going to be. And then that would be cool, because Yuji isn't good with them. He doesn't really use them much, and so he could like have that like foot in both worlds type thing. But hey, that wasn't the case.
All this to say, the theory didn't pan
I kind of got the sense that Gojo was like, or most of the characters were probably not gonna fully lie in one camp or the other, and that's kind of just how I always saw it. Like he was always against the higher ups at Jujutsu Tech. So I was just like, okay, he's against them, they seem like for the greater good and doing bad stuff because of it, but he's against them in particular. But he's also, he's doing some shady stuff, so he's probably just in it for himself. So it's probably just going to be a wash for him.
Yeah,
is how I always saw him.
I could see that. Man, I don't want to dump on Gojo yet. I feel like it's going to be a whole thing later. Anything else we want to say about season 1? I
think that about covers it. I will say at this point, I was like mildly interested, but I thought Jujutsu Kaisen was okay at best, and that's where I kind of ended with season 1.
Tyler, I know you like blitzed through a lot of it. I don't know how you felt about season 1 at the end of it.
I thought it was okay. By season 1, I wasn't super hooked, honestly. It was season 2 that really drew me in.
Yeah, I think I can agree. You want to talk about season 2?
Or do we mean season 0?
And by that I mean the movie technically movie 0 and Gojo's past and all that shit.
Yeah. And now this is actually where I got just super into it. I love Yuta. I wish he was the main character.
I think Yuta is the main character. They both are.
Yeah. I can kind of see that, but except for the fact that he wasn't there for season 1 of Jujutsu Kaisen.
I mean, I think that is what the movie
season 2
was trying to do, was like introduce you to this character who is just as important as Yuji is going forward. Like, I don't know why you'd make a movie out of it. I mean, but now, come on.
Well, yes,
well, it's
now,
like we did like the whole thing. We did the thing that always happened in Dragon Ball, where like Goku has to sit out 3/4 of the arc so he can show up at the very end and help everybody. We've just kind of set this Yuta piece like off to the side, just going like, now we've got this super powerful good dude. We're just going to put him over here. And he's busy for all the other stuff all of our other characters are doing. But trust me, he's still out there. He could show up anytime. Be ready.
Yeah.
I forgot he was hanging out in Africa at his breakdown.
Oh, yeah, he was. The Zero movie, I think, is some of the best Jujutsu stuff in general. I feel like
I did really like that. Like,
it might be my favorite thing to come out of Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah, I think I love Yuta's character. I like the contrast of him having this like possession. I don't know. It's like Hollow Ichigo done right in my mind. It's like a cool twist on the no, I've got a monster in me, man. You don't understand. But like not in a stupid edge
just a little
way.
Girl who really loves him.
Yeah, like I really like the twist on that. It was just like getting to see, like, I love that he was like with the Kyoto kids that like I already thought were cool. So Grant's like, man, I wish we were following these guys. It's like, bam, there we are. And like,
yeah, hey, we're gonna poke in on them because they got to exist still.
Yeah, I love like how Zero kind of bridged the connection between the world, where the world felt like way more lived in now that we got to see the development of this set of characters right after season 2.
Yeah,
or season 1, second half.
The whole movie, like the story arc of the whole thing, the character interactions, and all of it was just so good.
Yeah, it's really good stuff. And what's her name? Rika? Yeah, Rika.
Rika, yeah.
The whole thing with her, like the resolution with her, I loved that. At the end of Zero, I thought everything that they did with Rika was very, very cool. I don't
fully understand how she exists now.
Yeah, that was that's kind of it's like she just disappeared at the end of the movie, and well, she's back. So
because she chose to do it, it was like a conscious effort, and because of that, it like makes her not stuck in purgatory or something.
I could see that. Like when they hand waved it away, I was just like, it's fine. It makes sense. Like
it's like cooler if she's still here.
Yuta overcame like the trauma and all the issues that came with Rika. So it's like, let's give him a little reward. He's allowed to still hang out with this girl.
Power.
Yeah, and I mean, I love her design. I like this weird like predator alien thing going on like with her. It just I think it really helps Yuta as a character, even though I think he already is very cool on his own, especially with his like copy shit. I am such a sucker for any protagonist who does stuff like that.
Also, real quick, and I'm sure this is just, they didn't establish how his power worked at the beginning, but we know now he has to like consume a body part or some part of you to copy your ability, right?
I think
like he ate that one girl's arm, and then he was able to use the grabbing air, and then he had to eat what's his name to do what's going on now. Not to touch on it Not to spoil that, right?
I think so.
So how is he using the fangs, the microphone? What did he eat from Izumaki?
Well, wasn't he missing an arm?
That's way later. That is way later.
I'm sure it's been explained, and our brains are too small. I think we're just too dumb.
That's right. Off-scene blowjob.
Yeah, exactly.
I will not comment because I completely forgot he had the power to copy shit until very recently.
I don't remember that being relevant at all in the movie Zero.
Yeah, like I don't remember him doing that in movie Zero. But
Yeah,
he told me he did.
He told all those little curses to die, and then they did.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? I do remember that. All right, fair enough.
Yeah, because he gets Inumaki's thing,
and then he goes like, "Damn, that hurt my throat. My friends are amazing."
Yeah,
man, he's really tough because he's been doing this.
I thought he was just like, I'm going to just try this myself and see if I can do it, and then he did. That's what was happening.
Yeah, their relationship.
See, I think that's
really
how
good.
it's supposed to be taken until way later.
I'm sure that it's probably just like, hey, you can think that's how it works, and then later on, I'm going to tell you how it works because that's just how this happens sometimes, and whatever.
Yep.
Gonna put this in our back pocket, save it for a rainy day.
I think the other thing about Zero that I loved outside of Yuta, although I think he was a highlight of it. I mean, is I don't think it's a secret.
Ghetto being fucking awesome.
Yeah, I'm trying to find
the Gojo Ghetto relationship.
Not
I really
Kenjaku,
liked.
but Ghetto.
Yeah, where it's actually Ghetto there, like
actual Ghetto. Yeah,
yeah, like getting to see him do his thing,
his little racist, silly self.
Get to see him at the school, and it was like, I got this like wacky cult following me, and we're gonna fuck your shit up. And it's like, oh man, he was really, their dynamic is a highlight, and I see a lot of to draw a Naruto comparison. I feel like if they honed in more on Kakashi Obito early and made that a huge focus, is like what I feel like. Gege was like, that's a cool twist, and you shouldn't hold on to that for 500 chapters. Let's like make that like a big crux of things.
Let's put this up front instead and kind of grow on their relationship throughout it instead of surprise. This character was this guy all along.
Huge fan of like the generational storytelling thing that Naruto does, and Jujutsu is like following in the same trend of like, and your mentors have history and they have history and da-da-ba-da-da, and like giving all that the weight that I think it deserves.
Maybe you're just perpetuating a cycle of violence when you're doing your training arc. Have you thought of that main character?
Yeah, getting to and I remember, oh man, it's a later thing, but seeing Ghetto here doing his thing was so fun. I love that dynamic of Zero. Seeing Gojo get to like, you get to see that relationship fleshed out more. Yuta and Ghetto having like a whole thing was really cool too, and I'm wondering if that's gonna get like brought up later now because of everything. Yeah. Anything else about Zero?
Freaking what's his name? Guy with no powers, but is crazy strong. Fushigoro's relative.
His dad. Whose name?
Oh yeah, his dad
is
something Zenin.
Is Toji? I'm
terrible with names. You're asking the wrong guy. Chat's saying Toji. I'm gonna trust Chat.
I'm gonna say, I think yes, Toji Fushiguro.
Yay!
That's the flashback. That isn't season 0. Do we want to go there?
Oh, is it? I thought that was all
season 2.
That's the beginning of season 2.
Yeah,
I thought he was in the movie.
He's the beginning of season 2.
He's not in the movie at all.
No.
I could have sworn he's like the last big fight of the movie.
It's Yuta versus Ghetto.
That was Ghetto.
Okay, well then
he died.
My mistake.
Well, I mean, 0 and the beginning of 2 kind of go right into each other, so
they do work well together.
Yeah, you're not that crazy, Grant. Don't worry.
I think we watched it all the same night. So
we did. We watched the movie and then went right to the start.
Yeah, I went straight into the beginning of season 2 from the movie too, because the movie really reinvigorated.
Yeah,
me.
I thought they set him up in the movie somewhere was what I thought. But
no, that's
my mistake.
That's the first episode of season 2. You see him at the horse betting thing or whatever.
Oopsie, my bad. Then I guess no, I'm done with season 0.
Okay,
Let's move on to 2.
Yeah, you done with anything else about 0, the movie?
I'm done.
Done.
watching it with you guys did kind of tip the hat of like, it seems like Geto's very definitively dead, but now he's running around doing stuff.
Oh, he looks
Isn't
a
that
little
weird?
bit different.
Doesn't he have a strange? Isn't there a different look to him? Isn't there something
notice that
different
at all.
about him?
As racist in the series.
I didn't notice that at all.
I was like, okay, I saw Toji, I saw Geto, I saw the Geto with the scar across his head if we're saving the reveal for that. And I was like, man, all these characters are starting to look the same to me.
I would not have been able to tell you that that was the difference was, oh, he's got the scar on his head now. I didn't even notice.
All right, we took a break here and then I started talking about Gojo's infinity power. That's how I knew about Gojo's power, Kieran, is because I watched a Vsauce video.
Really?
Yeah, it was like it explained like there's this phenomenon of like, okay, if there's an infinity of like decimal points between 0 and 1.
Yes, there's infinity between 0 and 1.
Yeah. So if you're always approaching that 0, but there's an infinite amount of space in between or infinite amount of increments in between that, you're always getting further and further increments in, but how do you pass 0 then?
Yeah.
And there's like of course there's a law in the universe that allows for that, but Gojo is basically just taking away that law. And I understood that like immediately. And it was because of Vsauce. So Gojo should just say, look up that Vsauce video if you don't understand.
Can you make that a panel where he just is explaining his power and says, look up this Vsauce video and just plays the video?
He just holds out a QR
link
code on his
you.
phone and takes you to a Vsauce video.
I could just explain my power, but he does it better.
Can I just airdrop you this video?
He just types out the whole hyperlink in the text box and you just have to copy it letter for letter to find it.
I'm also not realizing how long it's going to take to get through this.
Yeah, we've been talking pretty in detail about everything. Which
I think
do we want to keep doing that?
No,
I think we should. I don't want to just run to the current thing.
I mean, it's the first episode. This was a little special. We're kind of catching up.
We're going to be cutting it up
I start
into
my new
numerous
job
videos.
tomorrow, but not till 11. So let's go.
All right, let's just keep plowing through.
Yeah.
Season 2.
I'm full of Teddy Grahams. Hold on.
Okay.
Just like Gojo when he was a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
He loved Teddy Grahams too.
Him
With
over
his
here, I
best
love
friend
Teddy
who was feeding them to him ghetto.
Mm-hmm.
Hollow Teddy Graham.
But they were like 6 feet apart, and he would use like a really long cursed spirit
There we go.
to pick him up from the Teddy Graham box.
That's a good picture right there.
So, Gege,
Did y'all know who that was in season 2? That girl. Did y'all recognize her?
No.
No.
Do you still not know who she is?
Yes, I know who she is.
I know who she is in the context of the story. Was I supposed to recognize her from something else?
Because she's in season 1.
Yeah, I did not realize that the nurse from season 1 is her.
Yeah, she's the nurse in season 1. Whenever like Itadori comes back to life, she's there.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's got longer hair now.
Yeah, she's the one who's there when Yuji dies the first time.
Wait,
here I'll
am I thinking of the wrong person then? I think I'm thinking of the other one. All right, never mind.
Here.
No, it's fine. I get it now. I understand now.
Yeah, her and Gojo have a little back and forth, and it's like, oh.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
and she's there now in the manga.
Yeah, she's the one who is doing stuff. Yeah, but that's her.
I remember that one.
Oh, that's that. All right.
So what I was saying is, Gege hates Gojo, right? That's like a thing that he's on about?
Is it?
He's like he's upset that everyone likes Gojo so much.
Well, that's
He's
your
created
fault.
a monster.
That's what I've been hearing.
That's like Toby Fox hating Sans. You did this.
Yeah, I just remember. I mean, this could be fully on Chad Vision's head, but he's talking about like Gege hates how everyone likes Gojo and says he should like Nami more. It's like, I mean, he gave Gojo the best character development, so I don't know what you want.
Yeah, like I feel like if there is another protagonist that isn't Yuji, it is Gojo.
Yeah. He's at the center of everything.
Yeah, he is like what the story revolves around. I don't understand how that's a shock. They might be talking about I don't usually read all the little author note panel things. But I would believe that Gege in those was like, hey, I don't like Gojo or something. Because I've seen that
I can
said
understand
so
not
much.
wanting to write for him because he's so hyper capable.
Yeah, like that. I can imagine hating the character because he just does everything, and back to
It's
my
a lot
thing.
like
I'm just
how Michael Jackson hated Thriller because he could never match Thriller after he made Thriller, and it just haunted him the rest of his days.
yeah.
Gojo is like, I made the perfect character. What am I supposed to do now? How do I make this story more interesting?
Yeah, like because I feel like Gojo has like you said the best development, has the one of the most interesting powers, had the pop off moment that got me into this. Like the potential of that character is what kept me going, especially after the way season 2 ends. I was like, well, there's no way, right? What happens? Like I had to know.
Where do we go from here?
In this flashback stuff with the little Gojo and Geto past arc thing, you don't really get a lot with we're mostly going to talk, I think, about Gojo and Geto here because even though Utahime, I think is her name, the nurse.
Yes.
Even though like she does get some stuff there, it feels like she is basically not considered for most of it. It is almost entirely on, okay, Gojo and Geto have this idea that they have to...
at this point, they're already special grade.
Yeah, they are already top of their class. They are the exception to the rule across everything. Geto already has a billion cursed spirits under his wing. Everybody knows Gojo is the crazy, the prodigal sorcerer and everything. And Gojo and Geto express their dissatisfaction with the school and are like, we're strong enough, we could just take over, right? Which is reminiscent of what Gojo says in season 1 when he's like, I could take over the world, but
I really wanted to.
I would rather train a new generation and, incept them for me instead of just doing that. And I'm like,
I'd rather make my own radicalized army to have at my disposal before I did something like that.
Yeah. And I love that whole angle between them. I love how Gege handles these characters that are larger than life, because I think a lot of stories will bungle these characters. And it's why I was always afraid. I was always afraid of what would happen to Gojo. It is why I was so invested, because I'm like, he's too good. He is too powerful. He's too interesting. He does too much in the world, and just as a narrative force that like something has to go wrong. Something has to happen. And so getting this flashback section, I was like, I think this is when my interest was, if not its highest, like approaching that point, because I wanted to see more about their relationship and their dynamic, to learn about him as a character. And the stuff with Gojo, Geto, and then them going, well, our school's kind of fucked up. We can overthrow this whole plan and not have the headmaster reincarnate or whatever and usher in like this new era of society or whatever the fuck, right? That was their plan, I think.
Well, Gojo...
no, they were just going to run away. That was
okay.
their plan.
Yeah, Gojo and Geto were in charge of making sure that happened.
Fight them off.
Oh, okay.
They were the bodyguards for the superstar.
That's
person.
right. They were the bodyguards for the star vessel or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
But
Star Platinum Vessel.
I feel like there was a part where they talked about like, well, we could just like,
yeah, they were like,
fuck
if
off.
it's up to her. If she wants to not do it, then we'll fucking get the fuck out of here. We'll
that was
that's
my,
what
anybody who
I'm thinking of.
chases
that was my
after
favorite
us.
part of that. It was the perfect moment where it's just like they started to just really like, I don't know, believe in the humanity of this person rather than her role.
Yeah.
And it was just such a nice little moment, especially for Geto to be the one to say that, because, you know, obviously he's just got so much like hate going on in him. It's good to know it comes from a place of loving people. And it's just like a great character moment for him to just stop and say, do you want this? If not, let's go.
Yeah, this was the first time, and like this was the first time I think we got to see Geto as a character who isn't just like I talk in riddles and hutta I know everything that's going on. Like,
I'm a villain and I'm going to talk mysteriously about
I'm
everything.
off to the sidelines, controlling everything.
Like Geto is the villainous, intentionally the villainous foil to the Gojo, who's just like, oh well, I'm just gonna be whimsical and goofy because I'm not worried about anything and I have a plan for everything. And this was like I think this part here and getting these moments with both of them to go like, no, this is like, they are still like goofballs here and stuff. But getting to see like how their mindset starts to develop, and specifically with like, I liked Toji as a villain for both of them to fight, because he was just like so adamantly hated everything about the whole like sorcerer society stuff and all the clan bullshit. He hated all the politics. He just hated everybody. And I thought that they were like, it was a fun like little three-way dynamic of Gojo going like, no, like I like people, I like society. I don't think we should fuck everything over.
Gojo and Geto are like fun nihilists, and then here comes freaking Toji, true nihilism of just like, no, nothing matters. What if we just killed everyone?
And I thought the interactions they all had were amazing. The fights were so fucking good. Toji as a character is so he's I love what he sets up later on too. I loved all that shit. But getting to see the shit with Gojo really coming into like his approaching like godhood level too, of just like oh, I can't die. Like was a
yeah, he got like legitimately felt like it was meant to like portray him as being like super high, like legitimately high on his own power.
Yeah,
they state it too, and I love it that he is actually high.
Yeah,
on Blue.
And man, I don't know. I feel like I'm rambling a ton, but I love all this shit with them. Fuck.
Yeah. I really loved the development of Geto. That was my absolute favorite part. It's just very much I don't know, like he the way he was in season 0, just like, okay, he's calling everyone monkeys. You get what this guy's about, you know, racist. Got it. Understood. Don't need to get further into that because it's just that's what it is. But I don't know.
Season 2 starts and then he's just like a sweet little boy. He doesn't hate anybody. What's going on?
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, I don't know, man. Maybe this is getting too much into like political angles that people don't like talking about. But I was seeing people like talking about My Hero Academia is like, why do we need to see what why these villains are thinking what they're thinking? They're bad guys. Let's kill them. Otherwise we're glorifying them. It's like, no, I want to understand why these bad people do what they do so we can figure out why. I want to see what
turned this man racist.
Yeah.
And why did this character turn racist? And what is their reasoning behind it? Why do people just slip into that sometimes?
People
and
don't
it's just like, oh, okay.
come out that way.
And I think this interaction helped a ton with that too. Like
oh yeah.
Like I love seeing I forget her name too. Ibara, is that her name? No, that's that's his friend. That's the other guy.
Oh yeah, everybody loves
Ibara. No, Yuki. Yes, Yuki Tsukumo.
Yuki.
Yeah. Their conversation, I think, is like a good tipping point from people who are ostensibly still both protagonists when that happens. It's just like, hey man, are you gonna fucking nut up and do it or what? Like,
yeah, it's like it comes down to like what do we do to help people? Do we hurt more people, or who are others, you know, that aren't in our group, or do we find a way to get along and not make as much progress? And he's the one who's like, okay, screw all the other people in other groups. In other words, racist.
Yeah.
So it like, I don't know. I like the fact that we can understand where that comes from. So it's like we can recognize when that's happening and hopefully stop it. Like that's what I like about these kinds of stories. I want to see the reason, the actual legitimate reason someone could fall into that mindset. And
I feel like I think that is a testament to what I think is Gege's strength, is the character writing. Like, I think the biggest hangups I have throughout the series are all just like, okay, here's like some super hyper specific breakdown of exactly what's happening, and then my eyes just glaze over at a point where I'm like, okay, whatever, I don't really care. But that honestly happens way too much in the newer stuff. I don't particularly like that. But I'm still in on the characters. I want to know what happens to them because I like these moments that they do, where they like break down like, oh yeah, like maybe the way that like all this stuff works is fucked up. Like it's seeing Geto see like the girls are getting beaten and shit. Like that was such a good moment too. You start to see like how he becomes the way he is, and in some ways it's hard to think of him entirely as a villain at the end of it, like, because he is just helping people as much as he can. He's just helping his own people against anyone who's not his people. Yeah. And I thought this development, like, I'm always a sucker for flashbacks. I think they're always great. They're my favorite parts in almost anything. I like when we get little flashbacks to why characters are the way they are, and I'm a sucker for a villain with a very compelling backstory. But I think the way this is burned into my fucking brain with them like in the busy street and stuff too. Like that whole scene. There's so many good set pieces in this flashback.
Are you strong because you're Gojo, or are you Gojo because you're strong? Like
so good.
There's a lot to unpack with that.
What'd you say, Tyler?
I love that it sets up just that question that's now been answered.
Yeah. And I feel like the constant threads throughout Jujutsu Kaisen get mostly addressed in this flashback like arc. Like what's the point of the story? Why? Yeah. What's the point of the fucking story? What even is this? And I was thinking inklings of this back. We talked about Hanami earlier. I was like, are they bad guys? Is this what's happening? You kind of see that a little bit here, where they're talking through this of just like this whole thing with the reincarnation's a little fucked up. This whole thing with us, like all the spirits, like maybe the curse energy is just a natural byproduct of humanity, and just it kind of balances out if we don't fuck with it. Like it'll like level out and stuff. Is this a problem? Should people just be allowed to do that? Maybe we just give everybody, you know, kind of like the Watchmen thing, where we can just say, let's just kill all these fucking people and make them follow a new order, try to co-opt you know,
maybe
a
we
religion.
Can force goodness into everyone.
Yeah. And there's I think you see most of the thematic threads that we see throughout season 2. I mean, season 2 is kind of just a big fight scene, which I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
But most of the
just
thematic
the question
meat
of
is
how
here.
do people with power handle that compared to people with none?
Yeah, the other thing that's like kind of being addressed more recently is just like the isolation that comes with being powerful.
Yes, I love them talking about that. Like offhandedly throughout Watchmen, but I see a lot of that here.
Show you love.
Yeah, it's a fun.
It's a real hard take at it's lonely at the top type mentality.
Because this could have just been, you know, and I don't think it gets here by the way of just being like preachy or edgy or whatever. Like I think it is like it's not necessarily like I hate throwing deconstruction around so easily, because it's not. It's still definitely a shonen battle series, but it is approaching it with an eye towards the topics that I don't think most of them look at. And I like the ambiguity. I feel like they haven't really, at least now, landed on the stance of like how the series presents like the villains and the good guys and stuff. Yeah. And I do think, like, you know, this whole,
it's just presenting a lot of options to you so you can just understand each side and pick whichever is, it's up to the reader to pick which sounds the most morally valid.
And I feel like the goodwill from this part, I really want to praise this part a ton, because this is why I've stuck with it for so much of it, because this part's so good.
Movie 0 and the beginning of season 2 is what's gotten me through the rest of the series. Like, there are other high points, but I would not have continued if I didn't get these.
Yeah, I feel like this is like exposing, hey, here's why I decided I want to make a manga, not just because, you know, any fucking writer will tell you know your theme, and like your theme is echoed in everything. Have everything kind of like reinforces your theme, figure out like what it is you're putting together in your story. And I feel like in this section is when you're actually seeing that come together, instead of just, wow, wouldn't it be fun if a guy in a robot punched a guy who summoned demons?
What if these cool ghost hunters had internal conflict?
But I don't know. I love this like slower part of it, and I
really miss it too. And
I do too.
It's very good.
I do feel like, I mean, the fucking name of the series is Sorcery Fight, so you know, I guess you understand what you're signing up for when you start reading it. But but this part in particular, I feel like is maybe my favorite. I don't know. It's great. And I don't know. Anything else anybody wants to say about it?
Very strong.
I think I said everything I wanted to.
Yeah, I don't think I've got anything too specific to add, but I echo the mentality of really like this part.
Yeah, this part's awesome. And then we get to a billion chapters of Shibuya.
Shibuya incident.
Yeah, and Tyler, what were you telling me that people
this
were
arc
like,
is not my special.
How are they going to fit Shibuya in a season or whatever?
Yeah, like there's no way they could do it, and then they expanded to 24 episodes or whatever.
Yeah,
the first season was already there.
Yeah, damn. There's
a lot of chapters. They also took a big break between the teenage arc and Shibuya.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like a month off for the anime or something.
Yeah. And this starts with we get the idea that there is a mole in the Kyoto school, right? Was that the thing? Like there's a mole in Jujutsu just in general.
First season ends off like that I think we have a mole.
Yeah. And turns out the mole is the guy behind or I guess he's technically is what's his name? Because Mechamaru is the robot.
The Mechamaru man.
He was born and named Mechamaru.
So Mechamaru shows up. And then he, was a mole because his whole fun arc was that he was born with paper skin and bones of glass. And so he had classic anime disease. And then Mahito with his fun little power of, ooh, I can transfigure your soul.
Was his thing a heavenly restriction?
It might have.
Pull up his wiki.
It might have been. Yeah, I'm trying to find where's his fucking.
Was that the first time that we hear about that? Technically,
is this him? Kokichi Muta.
Kokichi, yes,
yes, Kokichi Muta. Yes, that's his name. Yes, by the bindings of his heavenly restriction. So it was that. Would you like to explain what that is?
Whenever you're born, like God puts on some kind of restriction on you that either makes you more powerful in one way, but you're limited in others. So like Toji Zenin had heavenly restriction where he didn't have any cursed energy whatsoever. So he was like blessed with superhuman strength.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And
so it's kind of like a binding vow, except it's just not optional.
Except
it's just
God made it for you.
From birth.
Yeah.
God. Jujutsu God, who, if he's going to follow in the path of Naruto,
Yahweh.
Oh, yeah, Yahweh's going to show up.
Jesus?
Yeah, Jesus.
Well, Jesus was Jewish. Jujutsu Kaisen predicted it.
Yeah, exactly.
The Father, Son, and Holy Cursed Spirit.
But you see that, and then we get a fun little fight with them because he's like, haha, I might have shown you like what's gonna happen with Jujutsu Tech, but now that you made me have my body, I'm gonna kill you. And then we get one of the coolest. I was so in after like the end of season 2, and we get the fucking giant robot, like he's literally in a fucking like Ava.
Yeah.
And seeing Mahito with his wacky body horror shit fighting a giant robot was just like, oh my God. Like if there was like one of those scenes, like if you've ever wanted to make anything, I think most people understand the feeling of I have this seed in my head and it's just, a character just doing
this
a thing.
Would be yours.
I can see this being one of theirs. This at least would be one of mine of like, I need some wacky guy fist fighting a giant robot. Like it's so good. Like this part is incredible. I loved this to death. And then we get they just do so many fun things. I'm going like, I've been stockpiling my cursed energy 10 years. Like giant fucking lasers. It's like, oh my God, it's so good. And I know you were Grant was talking earlier about like Nanami's powers being like a little silly and stuff. This is what it happened for me, where I was like, oh, okay, now just anything's on the table. Curse energy is just a battery to do anything stupid that I want to do now. And I'm like, I'm in, sure, let's go.
Yeah.
I loved this fucking part.
It was a real freaking cool fight.
We get to see a little bit too about the binding vow shit.
Mechamaru as a character, or I guess whatever his name was, Kikito.
His name's Mechamaru.
Yeah, Mechamaru. Like him as a character, I never really got super into. Like even when they kind of did the reveal, like he's the mole, he's a robot because he's got a broken body. Is like I feel like I have seen that before, that like exact thing before. So I like didn't love him really, but he did result in a cool ass fight.
I didn't love him here, but I loved him after because of his shit with Miwa and what happens throughout season 2 with her and his little pocket Mechamaru things. And he's like, I put myself in these things and I know what's happening. So like that was such a fun way to write around, hey, we can't use a cell phone and like also make it like a character. I thought that was really cool. But yeah, until that point, I agree with you. It was just kind of whatever. And then Shibuya happens, right? They get like they find out and they're like, oh, October, Halloween.
I guess it's time for this crazy Halloween demon party to kick off.
And then this giant veil, which is a whole system we didn't really go over. They can put little barrier veils over things. They put that over Shibuya.
I think that they were going to fight Mechamaru, and that whole fight was also a test for that veil.
I think you're right.
That's about right.
I would believe that. And so we see the veil go down, and then there's like veils on veils. One of these is trapping people. One of these keeps other people out. One of them whatever the fuck.
One of them seals Gojo.
Yeah, one of them seal, and one of them
a dedicated Gojo veil.
A Gojo veil, so nobody can come in except for Gojo or whatever. I did like that initial setup for it. The conceit was good, and then Gojo goes in. And then we get their whole fight, and I feel like right after the flashback section, getting okay, here's Gojo popping the fuck off now.
Let's just show you what like awakened Gojo has become.
And that's right, he pulls out Hanami's like eye stalks. I was like, oh my God.
This is your weak point, right? Yank.
These look sensitive. What happens if I give him a little rub and tug?
And then he just walks into her to kill her.
Yeah, that's right. He just fucking walks into her and she explodes.
I'm just going to expand my border real quick.
And everybody's like, okay, we have all these civilians. I'm going to kill them all. Nope, I'm going to fire my domain for 5/8 of a second so that everybody experiences infinity just long enough so they don't enter a coma.
So they enter a coma, but not a coma that will be life-threatening.
Yeah. They'll wake
deny
up in
their
2
brain
weeks,
oxygen.
not too much brain damage. Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, when it's like, okay, you know what? Fine, whatever. Gojo's the best. I'm smile and nod, smile and nod. And
don't worry, Gojo said it and it happened. Like, it's basically...
I do really like that the strategy for dealing with Gojo has always been, like, they set it up in the flashback. It was always just like... make him think about way too many things at once. Put him through so much stress of having to deal with 80 attacks from 80 directions, and then we can sneak up on him and get him.
And then that's like the first couple chapters. We see a bit of Yuji like fighting people. Trying to see, in 299 seconds, approximately 1,000 transfigured humans are slain by the strongest Jujutsu sorcerer alive. The narrator hypes up Gojo so good. I love it. And then I'm trying to find a little picture of, you know, the big event that happens.
Does this happen before what is his name? Get up the cursed spirit. Dagon shows up?
Yes. Yeah, because they're coming to rescue him at that point. Is this here? I'm trying to remember when it happens. Whatever. Okay,
I thought they were all there for the thing because they were all dispatched on their rank 1 missions or whatever, and then they find out they're asking for Gojo, and then he shows up.
Yes, I think you're right. Point being, Gojo gets sealed in a funny little box, funny little die with eyeballs. Yep. And then everybody's like, okay, well, now we got to save Gojo. And that's the conceit of this whole thing. And then this quickly gets out of hand to be like 5 billion different things going on. And if there's any particular highlights that y'all want to shout out, because
I just love the fact that it's not just these characters that we already set up. It's also all these other sorcerers that exist in the world that have just been too scared to act because Gojo's a force in it.
Yeah, like suddenly everybody who was scared of Gojo is like, ooh, well, I can fuck some shit up.
There's a vacuum here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember the fight I remember most is the Dagon one. It's partially because like I was like, oh, that's like, was it Dagoth is like a Lovecraftian thing. That's fun.
Yeah.
And the guy fighting him, this old Zenin man.
The animation guy?
Yeah, it was like all these plebeians doing the 4K 60 FPS edits.
Yes, yeah.
And interpolation? Don't even get me started.
Shut the fuck up. Yeah, this whole bit. Oh my God. This
is made for 24 frames, and that's how it looks good because
that's how
of
it's supposed to be. And Mans is fucking right. Yeah, this
Chozo fight?
Yeah. Oh, the Chozo fight was really fucking
showing
good.
up. He's so fucking good.
Yeah. Chozo fight was amazing.
And then him walking away at the end. What did that mean? That setup, and you don't fucking find out forever.
Yeah.
I don't like if you're an anime only watcher, you really don't even know.
I think
ain't even there yet.
The Dagon
you
fight
can piece
had
it together, but yeah.
My favorite moment in season 2, like I was watching it and I was loving everything I was seeing. It was like, it was great. It was great. And then at some point, like, I started getting the idea of like, oh, this is what this series is. And Tyler, you told me this too, where you were like, what's the worst thing that could happen? That's what happens. Like, just always. And like,
it does.
That's a great rule of writing that just plenty of great writers will tell you, just constantly make something bad happen. Or like, yes, this happens, but something horrible happens. Like,
set up so many negatives on your table and make them run into each other.
Yeah, like, and there can never the main characters can never get away with something good without something bad happening. And you know, that's how you get people reading your weekly manga. You know, you got to have something to turn a page. And this moment where he fucking pops out of
like, hey guys,
and it's like, oh my god,
that was really good. I forgot about that.
That really, because like already the stuff with Gojo and Geto were bringing back what happened earlier in season 2, but like this is episode 15 or 19 or something around there. It's like, this has been long enough that like I forgot a bit about him, and then it's like bam, and then he shows up, and it's oh my god, great development with him too. Him fighting Fushiguro as well. Like, I loved their fight. Him just like throwing these bunnies everywhere. He breaks all this shit and then just like stabs these rocks individually or whatever. Like, all these stupid feats of strength. It's so good. And then he learns, oh wait, that's my kid. And he's like, what's your name? It's Fushiguro. And he's like, good for you.
Broke out of the family, huh? Nice.
Yeah, you kept the family name, and it's like, oh, this moment was so fucking good. I loved this shit.
It's a very "that's my boy" moment.
Yeah. Plenty of still like really good character development moments, even in the middle of this giant fight on fight scene. I really like the Shibuya.
There definitely were good moments in there. Yeah.
And then the giant. Holy fuck, that's right. This part. This part was
Mahagora.
so. Yeah, Maharaga showing up, which
Maharaga. Yeah.
You're skipping so much. You skipped Nanami's death.
No, that's later, isn't it?
That might have been before.
Oh no, that is that is earlier. I'm just like, I'm just hitting
immediately after that. Just Jogo shows up and is like, "Damn, that's my friend," and then just wipes everyone else out in like a second.
Yeah, Jogo. Like I was convinced that Maki was dead there. It was just like
animator guy's dead.
Is this? Yes, yeah. And then you get sorry, it's hard to. You can't like hit a button and go through like every chapter in order of the like random ones. Yeah, so then you get Jogo showing up and instantly just going like boom, fuck you, fuck you. Seeing him like actually pop off was great. And then the oh shit, like somebody's doing something. I feel the energy of Sukuna here. And oh, that was great. Yeah, here you go. I have 10 fingers. Time for you to
chow down on these. Yeah, you thought this was going to be what the whole series was about, us slowly collecting these fingers.
Yeah, nah. I was ready for this too. Like, this seemed to be the conceit. This was the Dragon Balls. Like, you were building this up to be like the thing, right? So seeing this get resolved this quickly was wild. And then we hadn't seen Sukuna for a minute. Seeing him show up again,
he kind of taking a back seat. Like, it was feeling like it was kind of like a we'll touch on him when we saw him.
He set up that weird binding vow. I wonder what that's about.
Yeah. And then you get the girls going, we're doing this for Geto, and then they get diced and exploded.
Just obliterated.
They get Resident Evil laser grid fucked up. And then he's like, oh, will you do this for me? Only if you give me a good fight. And I haven't read the manga of this fight, but I am sure it's amazing. Because the anime
there was a lot of
fight is
really good paneling in this that I checked out a little bit of. I definitely want to read through it.
Yeah, I would believe it, because this is such. I think they've Gega's shown like their paneling is very, very good throughout a lot of these action scenes, at least in my opinion. And I feel like they take time to highlight. Look. Ooh, cutting off arms in the middle of being cut off. We're behind here now. You kind of have a good sense of space. And just another really good
flow of it very well.
Crazy fight scene. Everybody going crazy. Oh yeah, we got the detective guy and Panda just chilling. And he's just like, I don't want to deal with any of this shit, so I'm just gonna pretend because Panda doesn't know that I don't want to deal with it. And then oh yeah, there's a giant meteor happening. Ooh, this is good framing for that. Face is good there. Yeah,
He's just having fun with it.
I could spend the next 20 minutes breaking down all of this bit frame by frame and panel by panel. Bunch of good fight stuff. Crazy highlights. Just, I think there's I love so much of this. I love all of this. All this.
These fights are cool, but this also kind of got just like almost exhausting for me, where it just kind of kept feeling like we are really running the marathon here. Like it's a lot of cool stuff, but I really like.
It's a lot of highs, very few lows.
Yeah, that's something where I maybe criticize Gege a little bit, where it's just like I feel like I kind of need time to process. like maybe this is just me. But it's just like I kind of need a second to kind of cool down after some of this, because like looking back over this, it's like reminding me like, oh yeah, all that happened. It's just sandwiched in all of this other crazy stuff that's also going at the same time.
Yeah,
and it's like really easy for me to lose track of where everybody is. There's a character who died who I did not realize was dead for a long time, because I kind of just kept waiting for them to come back, just because their death had been part of so many other, like in the middle of other fights.
Yeah.
That it's just like, it's like, I just kind of struggled to keep up with everything going on. We also kind of binge watched a lot of this, so it's like kind of on me for some of it, but it's just like, dude, there is so much going that it like feels really easy to get lost in the sauce in a lot of these fights.
No, and I agree with you. I think that's maybe I don't know. Is it too much of a good thing? There's like, it's one of those things that I think in contrast of like what I liked about the beginning of season 2, the flashback, was because it wasn't just a bunch of fights. It was the slow characters talking and stuff. And like, I think this is one of the best moments of this, was like just the little moment here of Sukuna going like, nah, dude, you were good.
Hey, you weren't bad.
You're just like, oh, what is this weird thing? And then,
I don't know. I've never seen that.
I don't know. I've never cried. I'm too much of a Chad.
Never seen those before. Yeah. Anyway,
bye. That is the good thing about Shibuya. Like I do think like it is a little too much like action and not enough slow points, but he does sprinkle in good character moments in this one.
Yeah,
I feel like that happens a lot less for later incidents, but
I feel like then you get Maharaga showing up, and then this whole. I'll be the first to pass on. Good luck, and then bam, like spending all of it to summon this crazy like Buddhist demon thing is just like I love Maharaga's design. I love the idea of this thing. This is like very evocative. I'm such a fan of like when this shows up, and then you get Sukuna fighting this thing. Like this all. Oh yeah, 2 types of slashing attacks. The default slash is dismantle. The other is cleave, which can be whatever. You cut shit. Got it.
His power is cutting. Sometimes he cuts you real good. Sometimes he cuts you real hard.
Yeah. And then getting to see the like, oh, this crazy thing that has endless adaptation versus the thing that is designed to cut 1 billion times. Let's see how this goes. That's a great payoff. And then, oh, that's a good. I hadn't seen this. I had seen this panel here. Live to see another day, and then
so I got skinned.
This is a random side note. Pulling up this panel. Is Shonen Jump allowing people to be more violent than they were in the past?
With Chainsaw Man, I noticed that, and I'd say absolutely, yeah.
Because like you could not get away with this like 20 years ago. In Shonen Jump.
Like, especially, I was like, Chainsaw Man, that's in the regular Shonen Jump as far as I'm aware. And that thing is just gory as anything. And that
my baseline has always been Dragon Ball. So in my head, I'm just like, would this get the same TV rating as Dragon Ball?
Yeah.
Fuck no. Like, that's like what blows my mind too, is like, I'm wondering when that shifted, because it's something I was thinking about in the context of like how Shonen Jump has like changed with the times, where there was a clear delineation of this is for a 12-year-old. Now it feels like the line is blurred between shonen and seinen. What's the difference now? Like I don't know what's off limits anymore, other than like boobs and fucking. Like, and even that is getting blurred. Like this is just I'm not complaining. I'm just like, I'm shocked this isn't Shonen Jump.
Yeah.
I feel like the Naruto manga was kind of bloody, but it wasn't like to this extent.
It wasn't
like,
this.
Yeah.
Like,
There's
I
always just like
remember-
PG-13 type bloody stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, did you read the manga? Like, it had this in it in the very early stuff.
I read all of Naruto, and yeah, this definitely is like good example of early Naruto violence. There's a lot of blood. He's got his leg broken and shit.
His arms cut off. This
Yeah.
is a
I didn't even notice the
genjutsu. Like,
arm
I think
or the
Doctor
Yeah,
falls
yeah.
under.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's like off and everything, but Zabuza like cutting that one guy's head off and all the
Mhm.
stuff being stabbed into Zabuza.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, and like you see like the head getting cut off, but I'm just like coming off of this and Kagurabachi, I'm just like, good lord. I don't know how far you guys have gotten in it, but these people are getting decapitated every 5 seconds. And they show it. They show you, like, you see their faces as their heads are flying off. Like, oh my god. Yeah, Fire and Ice Spell is a good point. Bleach was pretty gruesome at some points too, but Bleach was like cartoonishly bloody, where I don't feel like you don't get explicit. I don't know. I feel like there's a difference between Bleach's I get cut by Kenpachi and I explode in a fountain of blood.
goes everywhere.
And just like
versus-
that's kind of comedic in a way. It's just like it's an
it's Mortal Kombat violence versus
yes.
seeing a realistic depiction of a murder.
And this one very much just feels like, oh, you are just like a couple lines away from just seeing like the brain and everything here. And like, is that the only thing that they aren't getting away with now? But yeah, I don't know, just a random thing I noticed. And
Well, we were talking about how some artists, get away with different, page numbers and stuff like that. And at this point, it's just like, hey, you know what? Jujutsu Kaisen's killing it. Maybe we get a face being bisected and we're just going to show it. That's okay.
I mean, based on my understanding, which is limited, it feels like the editorial staff of Shonen Jump don't have a strict, regulations. Just like, is this too much for our demographic or this or that? And standards will just change, it's just like, and for different contexts and different situations and different artists definitely have a lot more sway. So
yeah.
Granted, it's a comedy, but One Punch Man is also like super gory.
Is it really?
I mean, monsters exploding into guts.
Monsters
when he
exploding
punches
into
things,
their
you
guts
see a lot of
everywhere.
viscera.
Genos is torn apart and just body gore all the time.
Mm.
He's just a torso half the show.
Wow.
But he's a robot, so it's okay. It's all context.
Yeah. Dismember a robot.
Yeah, dismembering a robot like Samurai Jack got away with that. You can get covered in oil. That's fine.
There you go. That's fine.
Oh yeah, very very good face here. Very very good one.
Yep.
Realizing you may be responsible for the deaths of hundreds, thousands of people. I can't remember how many.
So after you get Sukuna Maharaga fight, which is great, and then Yuji's like, oh shit, I am responsible for everybody who we were trying to protect in Shibuya is now dead. Which they don't really linger on a ton. Like maybe that's a level of violence they can't get away with. They're showing like thousands of people dying. I don't know, but
I love, at least in the anime, they show like all the people in the shelter, and then they just everything just starts to be wiped out whenever he activates his domain. Which I love it that he proves that he's like the special fucker. My domain isn't making a contained space. I am painting on air. I'm also like limiting the space. It's not going to be as big as I can make it, just so I can really fuck up this one guy. So this, all of y'all, just collateral damage.
Yeah. Okay. We get one panel of the people talking here, but when you see half of their heads disappearing, so you get to see a little bit of it. But I think you get this moment is like Yuji's like big driving force throughout it. And I think next is when
this kind of becomes his character for
this is where Nanami.
Yeah, this is where you get to see Nanami's death. And this level too, I was like, oh my god,
that's pretty intense.
Yeah,
he's missing his eye and everything. Like there's
I
so
love
much
the Breaking Bad reference.
I was gonna say
Breaking Bad reference.
He got fringed over here.
Yeah, and then oh my god, this part was so good. Bam! This is when I feel like Yuji starts coming into his own, when like kind of like I loved seeing the run back of Yuji. I was like, oh, Yuji Nanami fight Mahito again. Nope. It's just you, dude.
Yeah. Hey man.
And
you think you got it from here? Blam.
You gotta like really get your shit together, dude. I can hear you just fine without yelling. Mahito's so good. I love him.
Yeah, Yuji's motivation is interesting to me because it's just like, well, he blames himself for stuff that isn't necessarily his fault. Like, I don't think.
Yeah, because it's not his fault that everybody died.
Sukuna getting out and killing everyone, not his fault, but he takes the blame for it. He takes the responsibility because Nanami said, "You take it from here," and he's like, "Okay, well, Nanami's death is on my hands too." And then later, Nobara, and it's just like he's blaming himself for all of this, yet he's always thinking so little of himself, and it's always, I got to do this for everyone else's sake.
Yes,
and so it's just like he's what's it called? He's thinking of himself only when he blames, and he's thinking of everyone else only when he figures out what he's trying to do for himself. And that, like, every time he tries to do something selfless, he gets punished for it. So I think the ultimate lesson that he's trying to go for is just like, quit it.
Yeah.
Just entertain a little bit of selfishness. You're not just a piece in the machine, which is ultimately the conclusion that Yuji comes to, which I think we can all agree is probably not the best mindset.
Yeah.
I feel like we are setting him up to have that mindset so he can break it by the end.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's going to
like
be.
He thinks he only exists to serve other people. And himself as a person just takes on all the burden of everything wrong that happens around him. And that's entirely unhealthy. So selfishness in this context is very unhealthy.
Yeah. And I feel like we see a lot of that, I think, coming up and getting more cashed in the later stuff too. So I think that's a good analysis of the theme.
So I totally forgot she died.
I was going to ask you who you were talking about.
Yeah, I completely forgot that she died. Like, all the big fight going on right now.
You were waiting
there was
for her
a part
to
in the
show
back
up.
of my head. It's like, she's gonna show up and do like some little thing that gives
She's gonna
everybody else
pin
the time
him
to,
down.
Yeah, like that
Grant.
gives everyone else the time to kill him. Because
You're
I was like,
right.
why? Because I was like, why have we not seen her in forever?
You're right, Grant.
It's like, because she's dead.
Because she's alive. She is going to
She's
show
alive.
up at the last fucking minute. Because where is it? Where's the chapter where this is said? Because
Just don't focus on don't get your hopes up part that he drops there.
okay, here we go. Yeah.
Applied my cursed energy to her. My cursed technique.
So because Toto shows up with like a little Healy guy. And you're not
Yeah.
not
He
seeing
has
the panel
no
yet.
pulse. Exactly.
And
Okay,
isn't
so I'm not
breathing,
crazy.
but
not
much time hasn't
that's right.
passed.
And people
Yeah,
can be
'cause-
dead for a while and still be resuscitated.
No, yeah, like I
Okay?
thought they
Yeah,
gave
a
an
while,
implication,
a
like,
year
don't
in the
worry.
story, and she's probably fine, so she's
Yeah.
around.
No, this
Okay,
just
yeah.
happened right now. She's been dead for all of 5 seconds.
Yeah, like I definitely okay. Then this is making me feel a little bit better for thinking she was still alive. Because I
I'm with
definitely,
you. She is alive. A billion
because I
percent.
definitely feel like they had some throwaway line that basically went, no, she's out of commission for this fight and maybe for a while, but she might still be alive. And like Yuji has already died and come back at this point, and I understand he's special. But like in my head, it's like death isn't permanent in this universe. We've got kind of rules
Yes,
that
we
can
have
let you sidestep
people can come
death.
back. We've seen
Like-
that plenty. We have
So, like,
incantations. we have like
Yeah.
soul reincarnations. There's multiple ways for this to happen.
Hey,
But-
you guys want my take on it?
What?
She's dead.
No, she's fucking not.
No, she's dead because that fits the themes of the story. Yuji's pouring all this burden on himself when people die around him. And the final death when he recognizes that Novara's not coming back. And he's like, okay, I accept it. It's not my fault.
Well, yeah, and because he
No,
kind
the
of
next
still
death is going to be Fushiguro because he's going to have to kill him to kill Sukuna.
like he also kind of acts like, I guess maybe not that she's still alive, but I mean jumping way ahead, but there is definitely a point in some of the more recent chapters where like some girl is being talked about like basically like they're the third member of the crew, and Yuji's like, don't fucking say that. We're not replacing her.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
so I think that also re-emboldened me to go like, oh, she must still be alive somewhere.
I feel like in this manga so far, if somebody is not said that they are dead, they are not dead. Like
Dead.
we know Kenjaku's still alive. He's a little scuttlehead. He's gonna do something. She is.
Author confirmed her death through an interview.
I thought, says this person.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
don't pinch
yeah,
that off to
let's
fit your
get your
narrative.
sources.
Nah, we're just gonna leave it at that.
And let's just
Because I
not
also
say it's
couldn't
not
find the thing about volume 26 being somebody's funeral photo.
Oh, okay.
but I couldn't find like anything other than a tweet confirming that.
I don't think anything has confirmed that she is dead. Is she likely dead for thematic reasons? Probably. But I don't think she's dead. I think she's going to come back and.
But it's still a story, and it's still published in Shonen Jump, so everyone could still be alive somewhere.
Yeah.
Can you scroll down just a little bit?
Yeah, at the please don't get your hopes up.
Yeah, and just really zoom in on that one.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter because you know what else is said? It's not a 0% chance she'll survive. It's the same, okay? We can just choose what part to focus on here.
It works from either side, baby.
You got her brain
so
blown
you're
up.
She's
She's
okay.
zero.
But yeah, that's funny that you forgot she died.
Yeah, like I definitely for like a big chunk of the manga that I was reading through, I was like, so when's she gonna pop back up? Like,
she's gonna pop back up after well, I'm not gonna say it. After a certain thing fails, she's gonna pop up and fuck up his soul. And that's what's gonna happen. Because she can do that. Anyways, yeah, and then you get we don't need to really linger on it a ton, but Toto shows up. You get them all fighting Mahito, and it's amazing. It's so good.
It's
all of it's great. And then all of it climaxes in one of my favorite moments that confirms how much Toto's great. You get Mahito turning into this Guyver-looking thing for some reason.
When his body reached like its ultimate form or whatever.
Yeah, and he's got his fun little bio-boosted elbow blades. And all of that climaxes in this moment right here. An arm is merely a decoration.
Need my hands to pray.
The act of applause is an acclamation of the soul. Bam! And then, haha, kaboom.
But nothing happened.
But nothing happened, and it's so good. Like, oh my fucking god. This whole moment was... Yuji needed this, I think, to be a protagonist that I cared about. This whole fight.
It was good.
It was great. And this whole thing, too, I think this is where, like, he really gets it together, where he's like, no, we are kind of similar. I am designed to kill. That is what I do. I am just a tool that people point me to. I am a gun.
But yeah, you see, this is Yuji's dark middle chapter where he's kind of directionless in that he has picked the wrong direction.
Yeah.
He is not just a tool. He needs to have the self-actualizing, thing that Gojo and Geto had where they like realize, oh, sometimes we shouldn't follow orders because they're going to be fucked up.
Mm-hmm. And I like I'll keep killing curses for as long as I can. That's my point. And this, oh my god, this whole bit too was really
the little chase.
The chase scene.
Yeah, that was good.
This
this
is where I started
in the
reading.
anime.
Yeah.
Like this was the chapter I started on.
The 2-page spread was like 3 minutes in the anime. It lasted forever.
And I loved it then. It's so good.
I loved this with the low tier god audio.
The low tier god one is so good. And then what do you do when things can't get any worse? Ghetto's got to show up.
Yeah.
And
now this cursed spirit's maxed out.
Yeah. Oh, you're weak enough for my Junji Ito reference to eat you alive.
Would be a shame if something happened to all that curse energy.
Have you ever played a game where you had to like mix monsters together, but you had to like fully level them first, and then you had to max out that monster?
Yeah, I've leveled up my
that
persona enough to fuse it with the rest of me.
There we go. He
create the Uzumaki.
Absorbs Mahito, gets his ultimate power, Uzumaki, and if you aren't aware, this is literally
science.
It's literally science. It's literally real. I'm pulling up.
No, reference to Uzumaki.
Yeah, Junji Ito.
Junji Ito.
Dad Uzumaki. Where's the panel of him? There we go. Let me pull up this little image here. Which I read a little bit of a interview stuff, and Gege was like, I had to make sure that it was okay. I could use this in Jujutsu, and yes, it is like exactly the same thing. This is like what the dad does in Uzumaki and turns into a crazy spiral, and they're exactly the same thing. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. I've enjoyed, as staunchly anti-reference as I am, I really enjoyed the times when Gege pulls in references to other things because it feels like they're done from a place of love.
Classics.
Yeah, it's I don't know, Gege. I see you. We had the same childhood, and it makes me happy. But
now, do you get what happened here where he uses Uzumaki and extracts his like curse technique and everything.
Yeah, because he essentially now got everything that Mahito had, right?
He got his one curse technique, which is like transforming things, transforming humans.
It's like what's his face?
He used it on the barrier.
Yeah, to make the giant
to activate all the people who were asleep through things.
Yeah, there's that giant thing they do in the sky. This thing.
Yeah. Big old symbol.
Yeah, because normally there's that little, just like in Hogwarts, there's that little magic barrier of like, well, the normal world can't interact with magic world. And so he was like, I'm going to take that off. And so now everybody can see all the magic stuff. And everybody who wasn't a magic person, I just picked random people and now they're magic.
Yeah.
Which all goes back to his point too with, which this isn't Ghetto, but very similar motivations, which is cool. But yeah.
They're heading towards the same end.
Yeah, they're all heading towards the same conclusion, which is everybody is going to have superpowers because when everybody's super, no one is. And we all love the film Incredibles.
Yes.
And then we get...
Did we gloss over the Kenjaku father reveal? Was that earlier? Okay.
Well, that's not happened yet.
That has not happened yet.
Okay.
Yeah. That's not that.
Father? Huh?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Well, I thought Chozo should.
I think it was revealed at the very end of season 2.
Yeah, he's Chozo's father.
Yeah, he's Chozo's dad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Have we revealed that yet?
Yeah, we it's revealed that that Kenjaku is
Chozo's
dad.
That
Chozo's
Yuji
like
was his brother.
Yeah, this whole thing where
but we don't know what that's about yet.
I think he kind of just he explained it in very simple terms, but he did say their brothers because of this guy.
I have 3 parents, my mother, the cursed spirit that impregnated her, and the man who mixed his blood with theirs and toyed with my mother.
Yeah, so now we've got the scar forehead and then...
Yeah.
Yeah.
It appears you've noticed Noritoshi Kamo. There you go. Who's the same name as Blood Guy.
Yeah, so other Kamo guy.
Yeah, which we were like, oh, that's Kenjaku. That's the different name that they had. So I called him Kamo for the longest time, but then everybody in the manga started calling him Kenjaku, so it was confusing me.
Yeah, they just they just called him 3 different things in rapid succession.
Yeah, they're like, oh, well, whatever. And
Jaku's just like the name of the brain. Noritomo was like the name of the guy that he possessed back then. Right?
Yes, he's that guy.
Look, you can keep up with who Joy Boy is, Ben. You can keep up with that.
I can't keep up with that.
What? Are you not a real One Piece fan?
Joy Boy's easy. He's just a boy who's joyous.
Joy Boy Nika
He's
Luffy.
a boy whom's to joy.
Yeah, exactly.
Just a happy lad.
It's very easy to remember that.
Yeah, that must
that
mean
means Yuji's my younger brother.
Yuji's my younger brother.
He explained it, but just in simple terms. Like, there's not much more detail as to how that happened.
Yeah,
but we've already...
But it's not like really confirmed. And in I was still of the mindset here that this was like a Toto thing where he's just like...
Yeah, where it's just like, I'm calling you brother because we are similar in some way, but not
because in the anime, they do this
like
weird
putting
effect.
That reveal right next to the fact that it's like, oh, this guy's switching bodies. I don't know. To me, it felt like enough to piece it all together.
He's at the dinner table now.
Yeah, now he gets invited to the barbecue. Yeah, there's then we got a bunch of like over the little, everybody fights here. Ice Lady's like, ha ha, freeze you all, and then their whole thing, and then but everybody is magic now, and then we get to this is where season 2 ended, where we get to see all of Shibuya, and then this giant growing black void is now getting filled with a bunch of cursed spirits and every other bad little thing, and it's starting to get back to its like horror roots here, which I really liked. Thought that was fun. And then Yuta shows up, and Ben pogs, and I pog, and everybody pogs.
Yeah.
And then I feel like this is where we start to see, oh yeah, that's right. There was another really important character, and that's do we see Yuta at the end of the anime?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This whole scene right here is shown.
Yeah, you get to see like
the anime ends like with the end of this chapter where they're like,
yeah.
I think they show like a couple pages into the next chapter, but that's about where it ends. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like where he's running on the highway.
Geto's survival has been confirmed. He has been sentenced to death again. Satoru Gojo has been deemed an accomplice in the Shibuya and thus permanently exiled from Jiru. This even considered a criminal act. The principal of Tokyo received the death penalty for inciting Gojo and Geto to cause the Shibuya incident. Yuji Todori's death sentence is revoked and everybody should kill him. Special grade Yuta Okotsu is appointed the executioner. And then
So the higher ups are just acting to try to seize more power.
yeah. And then I don't know if you see. Okay, yeah, you don't see the thing.
This is just brand new.
Yeah, then that's all brand new.
Yeah.
After
Here
that,
on anime people, this is where you got off the train.
Spoiler, spoiler.
but that's the that is the Shibuya stuff. That's season 2. Any closing thoughts you wanted to have on season 2?
We went through it all pretty in depth.
I liked a lot of it, but it
You've
was
been at this for a bit
exhausting.
now.
But it was also good.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I feel like it was a lot happens that I think is easy to forget, and there's like so much that happens in it. But this was such a good like cliffhanger moment of seeing our other protagonist go, "Oh, I've got to kill Eugene."
Guess
Like,
I've got to kill main character number 1. Hi, it's me, main character number 3.
0.
yeah. I was super in, and then it was not common. Like I haven't felt like compelled to read mangas of things that I've wanted to that like get left off on anime until Jujutsu Kaisen. I was like, fuck, I can't wait. I need to see what happens. I need to see what happens. When does Gojo get out? Does Gojo get out? Is he gone forever? What the fuck? I think it did a great job.
So funny because what happens to Gojo had already been concluded by the time you got into the series, and you had asked me about it before you were a fan, and I told you, but you could not remember that at all.
He pushed it out of his mind.
I have that superpower, and I'm not bullshitting you. I was not lying. I can
Now,
just forget things. My memory is very bad.
At this point, my prediction was that at some point, I didn't know his name yet, but Kenjaku was going to put his brain in Gojo. I was like certain that's where this was
That's
going.
what I thought was going to happen too.
Like it was going to be, all right, we're going to do all of this fighting. We're going to get to Geto's body or whatever, thinking we can get the trapezoid to get Gojo out.
Mhm.
And the twist is going to be that I've already swapped brains and I am now in Gojo. And so now bad guy has Gojo's power. Does not go that way, turns out.
I'm going to make a call here and I'm going to see how y'all feel. We've been going for 2.5 hours already. I know people have obligations tomorrow. Do you want to do a second one where we follow up on everything after this?
An official rest of it.
Yeah.
Post anime.
Because I feel like what we're probably going to end up doing for most of these is not talk about 260 chapters over the course of 2 hours. We'll probably
the fact that we
break
were
it
only
down
like
more.
halfway through is
You make a valid point.
Yeah,
is
we
a
were
bit
kind of just
concerning.
we were just hitting rough things too.
Yeah, I
Or
made a
really
point
even
to
going
try
into
and
the
speed
detail
run what we
over
could to get
things.
to like, the big points and just talk about like set the stage for where I imagine we're going to get more in depth with stuff.
Oh man, yeah, I wasn't expecting it to already be going on so long, but
We originally pitched this as something we were going to do on Tuesday. Do we want to make that the makeup day?
I can probably do that.
I mean, yeah, because we're also supposed to start at 7 before everything exploded, so
Also
it's
true.
not going to go till
Yeah.
midnight.
yeah, I'd say let's try to pick this up as soon as we can and try to like finish it off. But we'll just call this one a 2-part special because it's we're getting used to it and we had to go through an entire series.
Yeah, and we also had the preamble, like setting up, what the show is, manga stuff, little everything.
Lots of catch up in this one.
Yeah, but I think at the end of this for season 2 of of Jujutsu Kaisen, I was super on board and very excited to read more. I hope you're excited to hear more of it. If you're hearing these words, because ready or not, you're gonna.
You got to do it.
Yeah, if you're wanting to keep up with the manga and you need an excuse, read the next 100 chapters in the next few days.
2 days, yeah.
Yeah.
Get caught up on this.
You can
and
do
then
that.
also get
I've read
caught up
100
on
chapters in a day before. It's not that hard.
and then also get caught up on Kagurabachi for next week.
Well, that you can do that in a day. You can do that the day before and then show up trying to get the pop quiz ready.
And then Dead Demons Day-to-Day Destruction.
Yes.
For the future after that.
If you have anything you want to let us know, I mean, you know where to find us on Twitter. I'm assuming you found this that way. I still don't know if we should like find a way to put this on Spotify and all the other podcasty things, because like maybe
Honestly, we probably could do that for this one at least. Like for this
I think
series,
so.
it seems like it would lend it to it.
Yeah.
I think it would work because we're not really.
So if you're hearing this on Spotify, check us out at GoodTimes.Zone, GoodTimeZone on YouTube,
On YouTube.
GoodTimeZone on Twitch.
On Twitch, we're streaming this whole thing with visuals that you're missing.
You'd be looking
Yeah,
at
we probably
manga
referred to
panels
the
as we
visuals
talk
a couple times.
Probably. Yeah. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We need a stupid little outro slogan.
And well, here it is, the end, or reedy or not.
In season 1 of Jujutsu, 1 and 2 of Jujutsu Kaisen, I give them a reedy.
Ooh, I give it a reedy.
I give it.
I would also say reedy.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, with no knots.
No knots today.
Free of the
Yeah,
knots.
yeah.
Okay.
So far, knotless.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Go. Fire and Ice Metal has a good one. Yeah. I'll amend the stream with a binding vow. I pledge to talk about more of this only if you like and subscribe. Bye.
Whoa.
Ooh, that's good.
You become a good egg.
Good times. Zone.